Hey guys, welcome to Pocket Saga. So in today's video we are gonna see, what if Ash and Serena were reincarnated by Arceus in Sinnoh? Part 4. This story is Ash's Hisui story by the respected author Raichu. Make sure to show some love for their work. Before starting, if you are interested in Pokemon fanfictions, you can consider subscribing this channel and like this video. That keeps me motivated to upload more. Now let's dive in. Back at the request board, they find another request on it. A stare from the supply corps says he'd like us to look into something about the habits of Clefairy. Find out more from him about the particulars and lend him your expertise. Clefairy, huh? I don't think we have this Pokemon yet, Serena says. Yeah, maybe we can try to catch one, Ash says. They go to the supply corps and find a stare, and he says, back where I came from, Clefairy would come out and dance on nights with a full moon. I've heard there are Clefairy in Hisui, and so I was wondering if they dance here, too. I've heard you can find Clefairy at the fabled spring. Could you go and find out if Clefairy dance here in the Hisui region? We've never been to the fabled spring. We can try to see it, Ash says. Luckily for you guys, today is another full moon, Adaman says. After arriving at the fabled spring, which is over from the Boulder Roll Ravine, they manage to see that in the night time, there are Clefairy, and even an Alpha Clefable. They decide to research them as quick as possible. Clef's research tasks. Number caught. 1, 2, 4, 10, 15 number of small specimens caught. 1, 2, 3 number you've caught without being spotted. 1, 2, 4, 6, 10 number you've caught while they were sleeping. 1 number caught at night. 1, 2, 4, 6, 10 times you've given it food. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 number you've evolved. 1, 2, 3. Hisui Dex entry number 199 Cleffa. The star-shaped Pokemon. Fairy type. In silhouette, they resemble twinkling starlight. When shooting stars rain from the night sky, Cleffa gather in numbers and dance as though they are indeed incarnations of the stars. Clefairy's research tasks. Number caught. 1, 2, 4, 10, 15 number you've caught without being spotted. 1, 2, 4, 6, 10 number caught at night. 1, 2, 4, 6, 10 number defeated. 1, 2, 4, 10, 15 times you have seen it use Draining Kiss. 1, 3, 6, 12, 25 times you've given it food. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 number you've evolved. 1, 2, 3 investigated whether Clefairy dance under a full moon. 1. Hisui Dex entry number 200 Clefairy. The fairy Pokemon. Fairy type. Evolved from Cleffa with high friendship. It can be found in quiet mountain areas on a full moon's night. Its dancing and its tiny, faintly glowing wings confer upon it a lovely fairy-like quality. Clefable's research tasks. Number caught. 1, 2, 4, 6, 10 number of alpha specimens caught. 1, 2, 3 number caught at night. 1, 2, 6, 12, 25 number defeated. 1, 2, 4, 6, 10 number of you've defeated with poison type moves. 1, 2, 3 times you have seen it use psychic. 1, 3, 6, 12, 25 times you have seen it use moonblast. 1, 3, 8, 20, 40 times you've seen it use an agile style move. 1, 2, 4, 10, 15. Hisui Dex entry number 201 Clefable. The fairy Pokemon. Fairy type. Evolved from Clefairy with Moonstone. Legend says that on clear, quiet nights, it listens for the voices of its kin living on the moon. I, too, often think of my homeland, so far away. After finding some Clefairy dancing around, they also notice that of the 5 of them, the little one has been slower than the others when it comes to dancing. After that's done, they find a moonstone on the ground where they left. I think that the only Pokemon here in Hisui that needs a moonstone is Clefairy, Ash mutters. Yeah. Serena adds. After getting back to the Galaxy Hall, they report this to a stare. He says, oh ho. So you say that Clefairy dance here in the land of Hisui, too. They must have been adorable to behold. I must go and see them one of these days. Thank you for looking into that for me. I'm excited to see what you'll accomplish next. He gives them 5 salt cakes and 3 express candy M as rewards. After that, they continue to do the requests as they look at the request board. Gully of the Supply Corps has requested help. Something to do with a saying about nosepass. Seek her out and put your surveying skills to good use by pointing her in the right direction. They go to the Coronet Highlands and find Gully at the Highlands camp. She says, "Ah, good. I've been waiting for someone from the Survey Corps to come along. I want to gather crafting materials in Wayward Cave, but I realized I have a bit of a problem. My sense of direction is worse than useless. If there's any chance at all of getting lost in that cave, you can bet that's what I'll do." "Yeah," Serena mutters. "But I know a way to keep myself from stumbling around in the dark forever. See, there's an old saying in my hometown, a nosepass never wanders. Since nosepass always face the same direction, people from my village would look to this Pokemon for guidance when they'd lost their way. Though I admit I've not actually seen a nosepass before in my life. But little matter. I just need to find myself a nosepass before I find myself hopelessly lost. I'll check the direction it faces against my map, then navigates through the cave with ease. I'll look around for a nosepass, too, but if you catch one before I do, could you give it to me?" "We can give it to you right now," Ash says as he gives her the nosepass. Then they go to the Wayward Cave and she throws the Pokeball out. She says, "That's a nosepass, all right, thanks for finding it. Now, as I understand it, this Pokemon's giant nose always points in the same direction. So if it's facing this way, that means the exit must be over here. A nosepass never wanders. Indeed, I wish I'd encountered this Pokemon sooner. I owe you a big thanks. It's such a relief to finally have a nosepass as my trusty guide. All the twists and turns of Wayward Cave can't stop me now." Then she gives them a black Augerite and an Express Andy M, and after that, they leave the cave to capture more Pokemon. They get to the Moonview Arena and they decide to climb further to the mountains, and they find Elekid, Electabuzz, and Electivire on the road. They decide to do some research for them. Elekid's research tasks. Number caught. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 number you've caught without being spotted. 1, 2, 4, 6, 10 number you've caught while they were sleeping. 1 times you have seen it use Spark. 1, 3, 6, 12, 25 times you've given it food. 1, 3, 5, 7, 10 number you've evolved. 1, 2, 3. Hisui Dex entry number 182 Elekid. The electric Pokemon. Electric type. They generate electricity by spinning their arms. During a thunderstorm, if one hears the lively voices of children out in the wilderness, what one is actually hearing are the voices of Elekid. Electabuzz's research tasks. Number caught. 1, 2, 4, 10, 15 number defeated. 1, 2, 4, 10, 15 number of you've defeated with ground type moves. 1, 2, 5, 10, 20 times you have seen it use Thunder Punch. 1, 3, 8, 20, 40 times you have seen it use Thunder. 1, 3, 6, 12, 25 times you've stunned it by using items. 1, 3, 5, 7, 10 number you've evolved. 1, 2, 3. Hisui Dex entry number 183 Electabuzz. The electric Pokemon. Electric type. Evolved from Elekid at LV. 30. Feeds on electrical energy. During sudden showers beneath looming thunderclouds, one can observe Electabuzz scaling tall trees, where the Pokemon will then wait for lightning to strike. Electivire's research tasks. Number caught. 1, 2, 4, 6, 10 number of alpha specimens caught. 1, 2, 3 number defeated. 1, 2, 4, 6, 10 number of you've defeated with ground type moves. 1, 2, 3 times you have seen it use Thunder Wave. 1, 3, 6, 12, 25 times you have seen it use Thunder Punch. 1, 3, 8, 20, 40 times you've seen it use a strong style move. 1, 3, 8, 20, 40 times you've stunned it by using items. 1, 2, 3. Hisui Dex entry number 184 Electivire. The Thunderbolt Pokemon. Electric type. Evolved from Electabuzz with Electorizer. Its evolution was induced by an unusual item, and its electrical output rises along with its heart rate. From its tails, it can unleash an electric current measuring 20,000 volts. What is this place up ahead? Ash asks. That is the temple of Sinnoh. Nobody can go there unless we have Big Bro Kamado's orders, Adaman says. Just great. Serena says. Ash thinks, so this is the spear pillar. I can't believe we are so close. At the end of the Celstica trail, they also find some Hisui Sneasels there, and Ash says, so this is what Sneasel looks like. It sure looks different from the ones we know. Yeah. Serena says. And then they capture one and try to use a razor claw in the daytime to make it evolve. Sneasel's research tasks. Number caught. 1, 3, 6, 12, 25 number of light specimens caught. 1, 2, 3, 5, 7 number defeated. 1, 2, 4, 10, 15 times you have seen it use slash. 1, 3, 6, 12, 25 times you've given it food. 1, 2, 4, 6, 8 number of different forms you've obtained. 4 number you've evolved. 1. Hisui Dex entry number 202 Sneasel, Hisuian form. The sharp claw Pokemon, fighting and poison type. Its sturdy, curved claws are ideal for traversing precipitous cliffs. From the tips of these claws drips a venom that infiltrates the nerves of any prey caught in Sneasel's grasp. Sneasler's research tasks. Number caught. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times you have seen it use Dire Claw. 1, 3, 8, 20, 40 times you have seen it use Swords Dance. 1, 3, 6, 12, 25 times you've seen it use a Strong Style move. 1, 3, 8, 20, 40 times you've seen it use an Agile Style move. 1, 3, 8, 20, 40. Hisui Dex entry number 203 Sneasler, the free climb Pokemon, fighting and poison type. Evolved from Hisui Sneasel with Razor Claw during daytime. Because of Sneasler's virulent poison and daunting physical prowess, no other species could hope to best it on the frozen highlands. Preferring solitude, this species does not form packs. Then they take a turn to the primeval grotto and they encounter an Alpha Probopass and an Alpha Gliscor, so they also do their research tasks. Gliscor's research tasks. Number caught. 1, 2, 4, 6, 10 number of alpha specimens caught. 1, 2, 3 number defeated. 1, 2, 4, 6, 10 number of you've defeated with water type moves. 1, 2, 3 times you have seen it use Mud Bomb. 1, 3, 6, 12, 25 times you have seen it use X Scissor. 1, 3, 8, 20, 40 times you've seen it use a Strong Style move. 1, 3, 10, 30, 70 times you've stunned it by using items. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hisui Dex entry number 186 Gliscor, the Fang Scorp Pokemon, ground and flying type. Evolved from Gligar with Razor Claw during nighttime. It glides soundlessly on pitch-black wings and sinks sharp fangs into the throat of its prey. It takes on a look of satisfaction once it has entirely drained its prey of blood. Probopass research tasks. Number caught. 1, 2, 4, 6, 10 number of alpha specimens caught. 1, 2, 3 number defeated. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 number of you've defeated with ground type moves. 1, 2, 3 times you have seen it use Power Gem. 1, 3, 6, 12, 25 times you have seen it use Earth Power. 1, 3, 8, 20, 40 times you've seen it use a Strong Style move. 1, 3, 10, 30, 70 times you've stunned it by using items. 1, 3, 5, 7, 10. Hisui Dex entry number 191 Probopass, the Compass Pokemon, rock and steel type. Evolved from Nosepass in Mount Coronet. It is able to emit powerful magnetism, allowing it control over the iron sand that forms its luscious mustache. Using this iron sand, Probopass forms hard stones with which it smites its prey. After getting back into the Galaxy Hall, they find Zeke again. He sighs, "Every time I'm in trouble, you turn up. Just like clockwork." "That's right, Wanda's missing again. Please, help me find my lost sister." "Where did she go this time?" Ash asks. "This time she was sent to the Coronet Highlands, but she never returned from that trip. But I've got faith. I know you and that Ursaluna will be able to track her down for me. Get a whiff of that old kerchief, and see if you can find any traces of her, please, Zeke says. After that's done, he says, Wanda should be somewhere up in the Coronet Highlands, so please find her. This sure is the third time she went missing. Adaman says. I wonder what is her deal this time. As they get to the mountain camp, they manage to track the scent until they find Wanda standing at a lone cliff. She says, Ash and Serena, at lost. Oh, I knew you'd come find me. I got hit with a gust from Honchcrow that sent me tumbling right down the mountainside. I couldn't climb back up, and I couldn't get down either, so I've been stuck. So, please, get me back on track. They decide to use Sneasler's help and they manage to send her back to the camp. She says, you're always around to save me when I need it. If only you were in my corps, Ash and Serena. I'd be so much better off. But we are Galaxy team members, Ash says. We are already in the same team. Really, it's such a relief to hear you say that. I'm so glad I can rely on you, Ash and Serena. Wanda says. Though it's a little embarrassing, I guess, to admit to myself that I need to rely on you. Oh, you know what? I used to think that Sneasler was a mean Pokemon, since it looks sly and unsavory, but it helped me out of a really tight spot. I guess it must be good at heart after all. And then she goes back to the Galaxy Hall with them. Once Zeke and Wanda are reunited again, he says, it seems as if there's nothing you can't find. I'm always thanking you, but thanks again. There's simply no doubting your abilities. And I heard from Wanda how you reassured her, telling her your teammates and all. She's even started calling you her saviors. I think this is a little bit much, Serena says. It really means a lot to her to be accepted by someone like you too. And as her big brother, I appreciate you keeping her safe too, of course. I know that she can be a real scatterbrain, so I'm glad she's got you looking out for her. Then he gives them 2 star pieces as rewards, and then they go back to Coronet Highlands to do some final exploration. As nighttime approaches, they manage to find an Alpha Mismagius at the Stonetooth Rose, and they decide to do the tasks. Mismagius's research tasks. Number caught. 1, 2, 4, 6, 10 number of alpha specimens caught. 1 number defeated. 1, 2, 4, 6, 10 number of you've defeated with dark type moves. 1, 2, 3 times you have seen it use Hex. 1, 3, 8, 20, 40 times you have seen it use Power Gem. 1, 3, 8, 20, 40 times you've stunned it by using items. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times you've seen it use an Agile style move. 1, 3, 8, 20, 40. Hisui Dex entry number 198 Mismagius. The magical Pokemon. Ghost type. Evolved from Misdreavus with Dusk Stone. The incantation's Mismagius chants can ward against misfortune, so a custom exists of inviting it into one's home. Incur the Pokemon's displeasure, however, and disaster will surely ensue. Then the final touches are the Spiritomb Wisps, unknown, and the old verses that were hidden underground. The first wisp is located atop the Rocky Mountain Ridge south of Celestica Trail. The second wisp is located on the large step-like grassy section just south of Sacred Plaza. The third wisp is located on the northeastern side of Moonview Arena, overlooking the ruins below. The fourth wisp is located on edge of a cliff southeast of the waterfall flowing out of Lonely Spring. The fifth wisp is located near the mountain ridge by the river flowing out the southeastern section of the area. The sixth wisp is located on the grassy patch in between the 2 waterfalls northwest of Heavenward Lookout. The seventh wisp is located in the area with the large rocky plateaus southwest of Primeval Grotto. The eighth wisp is located on a rocky protrusion northeast of the Sonorous Path. The ninth wisp is in the back of Wayward Cave located below the double waterfalls northwest of Heavenward Lookout. The 10th wisp is located in between 2 trees near the coast due east of Clamberclaw Cliffs. The 11th wisp is located at the edge of a narrow rocky ridge with a single tree south of Clamberclaw Cliffs. The 12th wisp is located on a small island in the middle of the lake at Clamberclaw Cliffs. The 13th wisp is located atop one of the square columns just inside the entrance to the ancient quarry. The 14th wisp is located at the base of the rocky mountainside just east of Boulder Roll Ravine. The 15th wisp is located at the base of the mountain ridge west of Wayward Wood. The 16th wisp is located atop a large flat surface with 3 trees near the river east of Fabled Spring. The 17th wisp is located on the edge of the large lake southwest of Celestica Trail. The 18th wisp is located atop the mountain ridge due east of Moonview Arena. The 19th wisp is located on the hilly mountainside right next to the primeval grotto, and the final wisp is located in the center of a ruined circular structure just north of primeval grotto. For the unknown, the first one is C. Look to the ruined pillars of Celestica. They find it at the top of a ruined archway near the Dialga statue at the Celestica ruins. The second one is F. A stony outcrop over pools of mud on a mighty mountain. They find it on top of the rocky spire next to the lava pools. They can only use wing balls to catch it because it is so high up. The third one is J. A nook within a quarry. They find it inside the ancient quarry, on the left wall near the center. The fourth one is L. An impasse in a cave adorned by twin falls. They find it hidden in Wayward Cave. Since it is dark inside, Ash and Serena almost miss this one. And the final one is P. Among flowers at the spring where fairies dwell. They find it at the fabled spring, where it is sleeping among the flowers. And finally, they find the old verses, starting with the 8th one, which is hidden at the lonely spring. Throughout Hisui, plates lie scattered, plates with powers all diverse. Forever lasting, each inscribed with eternal prayers verse. Through space and time will they bear secret wishes for the universe. That sure is a little confusing, but they are talking about the plates that we gathered, right? Ash asks. I don't know. Serena shrugs. The second verse is verse 16, which is found at the sacred plaza. Heaven's crown, nearest to Almighty Sinnoh. Power of Almighty Sinnoh, gather as stone at heaven's mount. Stone, let your power flow, distort and bend the world around you. This one is about the Almighty Sinnoh. Adaman asks. But I still have no idea what it is talking about. Me neither. Arita says. And the final one is verse 18, which they find in fabled spring. Offer only friendship to those around you. Angering? In turn confounds you. Sorrowing? Will in woe drown you. A land, once riven, cannot become new. Let only peace and amity surround you. What does the question mark means? Serena asks. And are you sure this is the last one we found? Why'd I think we might have missed one? I don't know. But we searched everywhere unless the final one was at the Temple of Sinnoh? Ash asks. Anyway, it is late right now. I think we must take some rest. Adaman says as they nod, each of them goes back to their quarters to rest. But just as they get back to the Jubilife village, they are surprised to see that Ginter from the Ginkgo Guild is selling the appliances for Rotom's forms. He says, "Hi there. Got a special product in stock. A mechanical box for $20,000. We'll buy it, and can we also buy those items behind you?" Ash asks. Oh, a mechanical pinwheel sells $40,000, a mechanical circular saw sells $60,000, a mechanical tub sells $80,000, and a mechanical cabinet sells $100,000. Are you sure you can afford all of them? Ginter asks. Ash and Serena look at their money. They have received a lot by doing those requests. He smiles and says, "We buy them." Gotta say, you have fine eyes. Few others would recognize the value of a perplexing item like this. Its insides are packed with gears and machinery that serve some unclear purpose. But if you can solve these items' mysteries, your reward will surely be far greater than the price you paid for it today. Well then, I'll get these sent to your quarters, free of charge, of course, Ginter says. After they put all 5 wares into the quarters, they manage to record all of Rotom's forms, and also use them to cook good food, wash their clothes, and do a lot of stuff. Hisui Dex entry number 194 Rotom. Heat form. The Plasma Pokemon. Electric and Fire type. A form in which Rotom lurks within a strange cauldron. The cauldron's origin is unknown. A bothersome Pokemon, causing trouble with the flames it spits. Hisui Dex entry number 194 Rotom. Wash form. The Plasma Pokemon. Electric and Water type. A form in which Rotom lurks within an odd bureau. The bureau's purpose is unknown. A bothersome Pokemon, causing trouble by splashing cold water everywhere. Hisui Dex entry number 194 Rotom. Frost form. The Plasma Pokemon. Electric and Ice type. A form in which Rotom lurks within a bizarre cupboard. The cupboard's composition is unknown. A bothersome Pokemon, causing trouble by frosting everything over. Hisui Dex entry number 194 Rotom. Fan form. the plasma Pokemon. Electric and flying type. A form in which Rotom lurks within a mysterious contraption. The contraption's purpose is unknown. A bothersome Pokemon, causing trouble by stirring up powerful winds. Hisui Dex entry number 194 Rotom. Mo form. The plasma Pokemon. Electric and grass type. A form in which Rotom lurks within a misshapen wheelbarrow. The wheelbarrow's mechanisms are bizarre. It's a bothersome Pokemon, causing trouble by mowing down grass and trees. After recording the data, Ash and Serena are now sitting on their sleeping mats, and Serena frowns. Ash, can I tell you something? You can always tell me everything, Serena. But just by the look from your eyes, your question is a serious one? Ash asks. It is. I mean, don't you feel it as well? I think I missed our world a lot. Serena says. I mean, Delphox, Pancham, Mom, Rhyhorn, performances, contests. I really missed everything. Me too. Even though we might have some good battles and capturing Pokemon in this world we're now living in. I just feel like something is missing from my heart. The leagues, the gyms, the world championships. Ash says. It has been months since we stayed here, and thanks to Mom and Lily we know what is going on in the modern world we lived in. But other than missing our world a lot, I start to feel another emotion. It is thanks to this world that we managed to make a lot of friends. Adaman, Arita, Professor Laventon, Akari. I wonder what will happen if we are able to go back to our world, Serena says. Even though we have accepted and finished a lot of side requests, we are still considered people who fell from the space-time rift. We don't actually belong to this world, but we start to feel like we're at home in this Jubilife village as well. Ash frowns. How I really wish there are no contradictions between the time and space from our world and this world. Me too. Serena says. If only we're in the same time zone as everyone here. The next morning, Ash and Serena meet up with Adaman and Arita at their quarters, and Adaman says, isn't it nice getting up early? Arita groans, is it? It's not as if getting up early changes what you can do with the day. Yes, it does. It opens up possibilities. Such as responding to Commander Kamado's invitation today in a timely manner, Adaman says. Well, I got that same invitation, and I had to wake up even earlier than you to run all the way here for it, Arita says. Come on. No need to grouse so much over a nice little early wake up. Adaman says as he turns to Ash and Serena, are you coming, too? I'm sure we all can guess what the commander wants with us. Yes, do come. Galaxy Hall is quite close anyway, Arita says. Ash and Serena nod, and Serena asks, Big Sister Arita, we did get to see the Diamond Settlement, but where is the Pearl Settlement? Oh, it is a really far away place from here, Arita says. You'll know it soon. Ash and Serena are still confused, but they decide to see what Kamado is up to. Kamado says, you've now quelled the frenzy of 4 nobles. Yeah, it wasn't easy. Ash mutters, I guess there is a 5th one? When word of these frenzies arrived from all over Hisui, I feared what would become of us. Arita says. But here we are, already preparing to quell the final noble. Yeah, who would have dreamed some strangers who tumbled out of the sky would be our salvation? Adaman asks. Life never does stop surprising you. The only lord left to be quelled is Avalugg, which lives in the Alabaster Islands, Kamado says. Ash and Serena widen their eyes as they know for sure that Avalugg is also one of the Pokemon from Kalos, and Serena remembers how Ash struggles to defeat gym leader Wulfric's Avalugg for the first time. He is also the largest of the nobles, according to what Arita told me, Kamado says. Your mission is to quell Avalugg, the final lord, and perhaps in doing so, we may trigger some change in the space-time rift as well. You bet. Ash and Serena nod. Adaman says, Avalugg may be the Pearl Clan's noble, but my clan and the Galaxy team will have to step up to resolve this, too. For the sake of a brighter future. Then let us all go to the cold reaches of the Alabaster Islands. Arita says as Kamado asks to speak to Ash and Serena alone. No matter how many of these frenzied Pokemon you may quell, the fact remains that you are strangers to our world. No small number of people still regard you with suspicion and distrust. The most you can hope for is to gain the trust of as many as possible, and to do that, you must prove yourself through your actions. Ash and Serena nod as they leave the office, but just as they meet up with Adaman and Arita on the 2nd floor, They hear a scream on the first floor. That's Captain Silene, Ash says as they rush to their office, only to see that she is on the ground as a wormhole crawling past. Abra. Teleport this wormhole outside. At once, Silene says, and Abra manages to teleport the bug away. After noticing the shocked faces of 4 people, Silene quickly rushes back to her seat and says, ahem. So, you're to survey the Alabaster Islands next. This is the most treacherous climb you'll face in all Hisui. Then she stands up and says, but you have made progress. It seems you have earned yourselves a star. Silene gives them their 7th star, and they also get the recipes for Gigaton Ball, an Ultra Ball version of heavy balls. It would not be an exaggeration to say that you might be the only ones among the Survey Corps I can task with surveying the Alabaster Islands. You know your orders. See your mission through. Ash and Serena nod as they go out of the Galaxy Hall to the Alabaster Islands. But before heading there, they find Levefton and Ikari in front of the gate. So, we're to make for the Alabaster Islands? That's right. Ash says. I see. Of course I'm all too aware of the injuries done to some of our own good people because of the frenzies of the other nobles. There seemed little choice but to intervene. But this Avalug out in the Alabaster Islands hasn't harmed a soul, as I hear it. Does it really behoove us to go out of our way to subdue him? Laventon asks. If Avalug's as great and mighty as they say, he could very well cause avalanches, Ikari says. Avalanches don't require any Pokemon's help. They occur perfectly well on their own, you know. Laventon replies. I confess I still have my doubts whether we should even be getting involved in this case. No damage has been done so far, but if we send Ash and Serena out there, we'll be putting them in danger of real harm. But if the Lord is suffering in its frenzy like people say, then wouldn't it be kinder to quell it? Ikari asks. There's simply so much we don't yet understand when it comes to the noble Pokemon. Laventon says. We don't know whether their frenzies truly are causing them to suffer, nor do we know why they enter these states in the first place or if this is all connected somehow to the space-time rift. What is it, I wonder, that the commander hopes will come about from our quelling the nobles? Or, indeed, from surveying any of the Pokemon of this land? What is it he hopes to achieve? Maybe a way to coexist? Ash asks. I certainly hope so. The goal of my research is to help build a future where everyone gets along with Pokemon. Laventon says. Professor Laventon? Serena asks after seeing his thoughtful face. Ah. Nothing to bother yourselves about, doubtless, I'm just being a silly sausage. Laventon says. You've got a mission to carry out, haven't you, Ash and Serena? Then we will support you in it. The best support I can offer you now is another chance to practice your battle skills, Ikari says. You bet. Ash says as they battle once more. Ikari says, I'm glad just to get the opportunity to battle you. The fact that I've been able to grow so much as a Survey Corps member and work together with Pikachu is due to you joining us. Then she goes with Mr. Mime first, and Ash goes with Bronzong to battle. Bronzong's Shadow Ball manages to knock out Mr. Mime with ease, and Ikari goes with Pikachu and damage Bronzong with Thunderbolt. Ash switches to Gliscor and goes with the Earth Power to knock it out. And finally, the Staravia goes with Double Edge, but Gliscor uses Rock Slide to knock it out. There's something so natural about the sight of you and your Pokemon fighting together, Ikari says. About your mission in the Icelands. Well, it will be a challenge. Be careful out there. Laventon says, as for me, I'll set off for the Alabaster Islands forthwith. See you there, my boy. After arriving at the Alabaster Islands from Jubilife Village, Ash and Serena feel the cold from the area, but they are not too frozen to move on the spot because of their outfits. Wow. Ash says as he looks around the site. My word, it's rather chilly here, isn't it? Glad to see you guys made it safe and sound, in any case. Laventon says. Very few venture to these Alabaster Islands, apart from Dao Hua leading the Odd Supply Corps excursion to gather materials. But the Survey Corps, of course, must go anywhere that Pokemon are found. From what I gather, I Speak Arena, where you'll find Avalug, is rather far off, I'm afraid. Doubtless this mission to tackle Avalug will be another dangerous one. Learn all that you can from Arita and Adaman to try to keep yourself safe. Indeed. Brisk out here, isn't it? Arita says, and then Ash and Serena realize that Arita doesn't wear some sort of coat or other things, just her regular outfit. How aren't you freezing? Big sis, Serena asks. Freezing? I'm practically sweating. If you think this is bad, just wait. This is nothing compared to where we're headed, Rita says. You know, I'm beginning to think the problem between us isn't a Diamond Clan thing or a Pearl Clan thing. It's just a you and me thing. Adaman says. We'll never see eye to eye on anything, will we? I don't see how we could, as long as you and your clan cling to your vision of an almighty Sinnoh that reigns over time. Forgive my bluntness, but if such a being even does exist, it's certainly not almighty Sinnoh, Rita says. Yes, yes. Believe what you want. Just tell us where we have to go. Adaman sighs, not wanting to fight with Rita anymore. We're headed to see my teacher, and he's only ever found in one place, Rita says. Big sis teacher? Serena asks with surprise. Which is? Ash adds. You're talking about that Garrick fellow, right? Where do we find him? Adaman asks. At Avalug's legacy, obviously. Where else but a great mass of ice could I have meant when I said we'd be headed somewhere even colder? Rita asks. Where else, indeed? Adaman nods as he starts to leave. Ready to go? Ash, Serena. Sure. Stomp off without me. Rita yells as she chases after them. This is why I can't stand people who only care about whether the time is passing them by. And don't forget that we also need to survey some Pokemon as well. Ash says. Like that Snorunt here. Snorunt's research tasks. Number caught. 1, 3, 6, 12, 25 number of light specimens caught. 1, 2, 5, 7, 10 number you've caught without being spotted. 1, 2, 5, 10, 20 number defeated. 1, 3, 6, 12, 25 times you have seen it use Ice Fang. 1, 3, 6, 12, 25 times you've given it food. 1, 3, 5, 7, 10 number you've evolved. 1. Hisui Dex entry number 205 Snorunt. The Snow Hat Pokemon, Ice type, arrives alongside the first snow. It's thought that home's Snorunt visit will prosper for many generations. By tradition, one might offer a lump of ice made from pure water at one's front door. But as they walk forward, they notice the high valley and Ash asks, so there are no bridges around here? How are we going to cross this? Rita says, don't worry, we just use Sneasler's help to climb down and go to that cave over there. As they do what she said, Serena says, so this is where the Pearl Clan lives. It sure is interesting. I'm glad you think so. Rita says, and they also stop by to research some Bergmite, which Serena is surprised to see them in the Hisui region. Bergmite's research tasks. Number caught. 1, 3, 6, 12, 25 number of light specimens caught. 1, 2, 5, 7, 10 number defeated. 1, 2, 4, 10, 15 times you have seen it use Ice Shard. 1, 3, 6, 12, 25 times you've given it food. 1, 3, 5, 7, 10 number you've seen leap out of ore deposits. 1, 2, 4, 10, 15 number you've evolved. 1. Hisui Dex entry number 215 Bergmite. The Ice Chunk Pokemon, Ice type, lives on mountains blanketed in perennial snow. It freezes water vapor in the air to make the ice helmet that it dons for defense. After getting out of the cave, they are in awe at the sight of the huge ice land in front of them. They also notice some Swinub and Piloswine as they quickly record them. Those Pokemon reminds Ash of Don's, and he just hopes that there is a Mamoswine somewhere they can do with ease. Swinub's research tasks. Number caught. 1, 3, 6, 12, 25 number of heavy specimens caught. 1, 2, 5, 7, 10 number you've caught without being spotted. 1, 2, 4, 6, 10 number defeated. 1, 2, 4, 10, 15 times you have seen it use Ice Shard. 1, 3, 6, 12, 25 times you've given it food. 1, 3, 5, 7, 10 number you've evolved. 1, 2, 3 investigated Swinub's supposed special skill. 1. Hisui Dex entry number 212 Swinub. The Pig Pokemon, Ice and Ground type. Swinub excels at sniffing out mushrooms buried beneath grass or snow. Since ancient times, the people of Hisui have often relied upon this skill. Piloswine's research tasks. Number caught. 1, 2, 4, 10, 15 number of heavy specimens caught. 1, 2, 3, 5, 7 number defeated. 1, 3, 6, 12, 25 number of you've defeated with grass-type moves. 1, 2, 5, 10, 20 times you have seen it use ancient power. 1, 3, 6, 12, 25 number of different forms you've obtained. 2. Hisui Dex entry number 213 Piloswine. The swine Pokemon. Ice and ground type. Evolved from Swinub at LV. 33. The long fur of this Pokemon covers its eyes, ears, and even limbs, allowing Piloswine to resist harshly frigid conditions. The Pokemon's white tusks can be used to defeat its enemies. There are even Snover and Abomasnow here in this area as well, Serena says in awe. Yeah. Ash says. Snover's research tasks. Number caught. 1, 3, 6, 12, 25 number of large specimens caught. 1, 2, 5, 7, 10 number defeated. 1, 2, 4, 10, 15 number of you've defeated with fire-type moves. 1, 2, 4, 6, 10 times you have seen it use powder snow. 1, 3, 6, 12, 25 number of different forms you've obtained. 2 number you've evolved. 1. Hisui Dex entry number 217 Snover. The Frosted Tree Pokemon. Grass and Ice type. One is likely to encounter this Pokemon while out in the snow. There are stories of Snover appearing in human settlements but doing no harm. Rather, they bond with the children. Abomasnow's research tasks. Number caught. 1, 2, 4, 10, 15 number of alpha specimens caught. 1 number defeated. 1, 3, 6, 12, 25 number of you've defeated with fire-type moves. 1, 2, 5, 10, 20 times you have seen it use Blizzard. 1, 3, 6, 12, 25 times you have seen it use Wood Hammer. 1, 3, 8, 20, 40 times you've seen it use a strong style move. 1, 3, 10, 30, 70 number of different forms you've obtained. 2. Hisui Dex entry number 218 Abomasnow. The Frosted Tree Pokemon. Grass and Ice type. Evolved from Snover at LV. 40. A powerful Pokemon that can split huge boulders with ease. Dislikes associating with others and chooses to live quietly deep within the mountains, playing with the snow. Just then, an ice beam shoots at Ash, causing him to be frozen. Adaman notices that it is a Glalie work and he says, "A Glalie?" Ash. Serena quickly has Typhlosion use Flamethrower to melt the Pokemon. Ash falls to the ground and says, "Only this Pokemon would greet me like this." The Glalie hovers to Ash and gives him a nuzzle. Ash says, "Even you have come here to help us out, huh, Glalie?" "You mean even this Glalie is yours?" Serena asks. "Yeah, he was a prankster," Ash says, "but welcome back." Glalie nods as the Pokeball has become the Ancient One, and Ash recalls it to also research some data about it. Glalie's research tasks. Number caught. 1, 3, 6, 12, 25 number of heavy specimens caught. 1, 2, 5, 7, 10 number of alpha specimens caught. 1, 2, 3 number defeated. 1, 3, 8, 20, 40 number of you've defeated with steel-type moves. 1, 2, 6, 12, 25 times you have seen it use Ice Fang. 1, 3, 8, 20, 40 times you have seen it use Crunch. 1, 3, 6, 12, 25 times you've seen it use a strong style move. 1, 2, 4, 10, 15 times you've stunned it by using items. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hisui Dex entry number 206 Glalie. The Face Pokemon. Ice type. Evolved from Snorunt at LV. 42. It covers its body with an armor of ice harder than steel. Uses its breath to freeze prey, which it then devours as if they were frozen desserts. Finally arrive at Avalug's Legacy. Ash and Serena are surprised to see a man doing some squats in front of large ice, and Arita decides to greet her teacher as they meet with each other and talks. Adaman says, "Well, that was a real slog. fighting through those miserable icy winds to reach this desolate bit of nowhere. Well done, us. After Arita is done, she introduces, this gentleman is Avalug's warden and my most honorable teacher, Garrick. So show some respect, Adaman. The man suddenly roars, let's begin with some proper introductions. I am Garrick. I serve as one of the Pearl Clan's wardens. And you two must be Ash and Serena, right? Of the Galaxy team? We are. Ash says. Answer me this, would you? On what grounds do you come here seeking to quell Lord Avalug? Garrick asks. He's in a frenzy, and we want to save him, Serena says. That leads to my next question. What is wrong with him being frenzied? Garrick asks. Are you serious about that question? Frenzied Pokemon could trouble others, including you and me, Ash says. Our mighty Lord of the Tundra, Avalug, has done nothing to trouble any person or Pokemon, Garrick yells. Sir, please try to keep your cool. Arita tries to calm him down. For now, indeed. Avalug's causing no trouble. But aren't we also duty-bound to free our people from living in fear that such a colossal Pokemon might begin to wreak havoc at any moment? We are. There's certainly some logic to that. But if that is what you hope to accomplish, then we must judge whether these children are up to the task. Garrick says. Who cares about grandstanding? Let's get to battling. Just then, a Glalie and a Frostlass appear on the field, and he says, my musculature is as hard as unyielding as ice. Think you can break through? We can. Ash says as they go with Glalie and Typhlosion. Glalie uses Crunch to defeat Frostlass, and Typhlosion is using Flamethrower to defeat Glalie. But both of them manage to deal some damage to them by using Iron Head and Shadow Ball, which almost defeat both of them. Outstanding. I'm tough as an iceberg, but you smashed me through and through. I suppose you all can get on with it now. These ones all right, Garrick says. Arita smiles and says, thank you, sir. Some may still have their doubts about strangers like Ash and Serena, but I'll vouch for them. Then if you insist on quelling Avalug's frenzy, you'll want to claim some of that eternal ice he likes and bring it to my lord's seat. Good luck. Adaman says, eternal ice, is it? For that, you'll have to be able to fly. Which means you need Braviary. Long story short. You've got to seek out a young lady named Sabi. Tell the long story long. You're not saving any time if we waste it puzzling out what you mean, Arita says. Isn't Avalug one of the Pearl Clan's lords? Seems a bit odd for me to do the talking. Adaman retorts back. Ash and Serena are processing the information, which means both Avalug and Braviary might have new forms in the Hisui region, and they can't wait to see them. But fine. Listen up. This eternal ice stuff can be found atop Avalug's legacy here. Adaman shows the giant ice in front of them. But to get there, you'll need my clan's help. Not even Sneasler can climb this surface, let alone a person, like you or me. You're going to have to approach by air, with Braviary's help. Garrick once managed to climb nearly to the top of Avalug's legacy, I'll have you know. Rita says. He says he made it to within 6 feet of the top. Might makes right, or at least height. So we need to get to the top by having Braviary's help, and that Sabi is the Diamond Clan warden who looks over Braviary. Serena asks. And, about Sabi. How'd I put this? Even when she's not flying with Braviary, she's got her head in the clouds. Well, you'll understand once you meet her. Head toward Snowpoint Temple, and you'll probably come across her sooner or later. Snowpoint Temple. Ash gasps a little, as he knows for sure that is where Regigigas lives. But he knows for sure that Snowpoint Temple is underground in the modern time. Does that mean they can see the whole building in their own eyes? Wah! Just then, large winds blow through them as they notice a girl with the pink-colored Braviary on top of the ice. Sabi. Adaman gasps. My clairvoyance told me that I'd lead you on a chase. The girl named Sabi says. Think you can reach me? I see what you meant about Sabi, but why would she be up there? Rita asks. Seems you better focus on pursuing Warden Sabi, and let me focus on my workout while I still can. Garrick says as he goes back to doing squats. Ash and Serena nod as they use Wordeer to climb up the ice to find Sabi. Sabi turns around to face them and she says, Hello, my name is Sabi, nice to meet you, Ash and Serena. Yeah, same to you as well. Serena says. I've heard about you too. You're super talented, right? I bet you're gonna be fun to play with, Sabi says. I know why you're here, too. You want Braviary's help so you can quell Avalug's frenzy, don't you? Well, you'll get it. If you can catch me first. What do you mean by catching you? You're here, right? Serena asks. Just then, Sabi jumps into the air with Braviary catching her, then she says, "Let's go, Braviary." As they fly away, Ash groans, "This is not going to be easy, huh? We have to chase after her. As she has Braviary to help her get away from us? And I thought she was the member of the Diamond Clan. This is just wasting a lot of time. I think we have no other choice." "Where did she go?" Serena asks. "Over to that direction to the Icebound Falls," Ash says as the two of them leave. Rita says, "Should we follow them?" "We should. I want to make sure that Sabi is not going to put them at risks." Adaman sighs as they chase after Ash and Serena. Ash, Serena, Adaman, and Arita are chasing after Sabi, as they arrive at Icebound Falls, but just as they arrive at the place, Ash is tackled to the ground by a familiar Pokemon. "A Lucario?" Serena asks. "I never knew Riolu and Lucario exist in this place." And the one tackling Ash is no other than his own Lucario. He hugs the Pokemon and says, "I'm sorry, Lucario. I should have known you're here alone. I promise I won't leave you." "So let me guess, Lucario is also your Pokemon?" Rita asks. "Yeah, he was a recent capture before coming from the sky," Ash says. "I hatched it from an egg and then trained him to become a strong member. After that, they managed to recall Lucario into the Pokeball and also do some requests with Riolu and Lucario." Riolu's research tasks. Number caught. 1, 2, 4, 10, 15 number of you've defeated with flying type moves. 1, 2, 4, 6, 10 times you have seen it use Rock Smash. 1, 3, 6, 12, 25 times you've given it food. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times you've stunned it by using items. 1, 3, 5, 7, 10 number you've evolved. 1. Hisui Dex entry number 223 Riolu. The Emanation Pokemon. Fighting type. Though infantile in appearance, it has the mysterious ability to read the minds of humans. The pure of heart are met with Riolu's approval, while those of ill nature earn only its loathing. Lucario's research tasks. Number caught. 1, 2, 4, 10, 15 number of alpha specimens caught. 1 number defeated. 1, 2, 4, 10, 15 number of you've defeated with fire-type moves. 1, 2, 4, 6, 10 times you have seen it use Aura Sphere. 1, 3, 10, 30, 70 times you have seen it use Close Combat. 1, 3, 8, 20, 40 times you've seen it use an Agile style move. 1, 3, 10, 30, 70 times you've stunned it by using items. 1, 5, 10, 15, 20. Hisui Dex entry number 224 Lucario. The Aura Pokemon. Fighting and Steel type. Evolved from Riolu with high friendship during daytime. A most gallant-looking creature. It emits energy waves and controls them with precision, using them to sense even faraway beings. I have given the name, Aura, to this power. A text message appears on Ash's phone, and he reads it and says, "Congratulations on finding all your Pokemon that are scattered around Hisui. So Lucario is the final one to find. That's nice." "I know what you mean," Serena says, "but now, we should try to find Sabi." After climbing the cliff to the top, they find Sabi standing there waiting for them. Sabi says, "Ash and Serena, you made it all the way up here in this cold. But my question is, did you catch me? Or did I let myself get caught?" Ash and Serena don't know how to respond, and then Sabi continues, "Ooh, and one more thing. Am I even really clairvoyant?" "You might be." Serena decides to answer, and she says, "No one but me could really know, right? Anyway, the challenge continues. The next stop of our merry chase is Snowpoint Temple. But the real question here is, am I really having fun playing with you, or am I bored? Then she starts to fly away with Braviary again, much to their annoyance. "We just climbed all the way up here and now she just flew away. Like that," Ash mutters. "That's Sabi for you, but she did tell you to find her in Snowpoint Temple," Adaman says. Snowpoint Temple is just above the cliff if you go to the Pearl Settlement. Arita says. It is close to Lake Acuity. Lake Acuity, huh? Ash mutters as they all go there. Serena asks, Ash? You didn't seem to be excited to go to Lake Acuity. Well, I'm excited, it is just. What happened to Lake Acuity when I traveled there with Dawn and Brock? Ash says, I had a full 6-on-6 battle with my rival who thought that power is everything with Pokemon, and I lost badly. Serena gasps in surprise, she has never heard Ash talk about his past battles. Ash sighs and says, but don't worry, I managed to beat him using the same team in the Pokemon League. But his team was different then, so it was never truly avenged. I see. Serena says. After getting to the Pearl Settlement, they are greeted by a lot of Pearl Clan members, like Diamond Clan members. They have some doubts about them being the leader of Diamond Clan and the 2 members of the Galaxy team, but in the end, Arita manages to let them open their heart towards them. After that's done, they climb the cliff to reach the Snowpoint Temple. And just by outside the temple they can find a lot of rufflet flying around. I guess those are normal rufflets, Ash says as they research them. Rufflet's research tasks. Number caught. 1, 3, 6, 12, 25 number of light specimens caught. 1, 2, 5, 7, 10 number defeated. 1, 2, 4, 10, 15 number of you've defeated with electric type moves. 1, 2, 4, 6, 10 times you have seen it use air slash. 1, 3, 6, 12, 25 times you have seen it use roost. 1, 2, 4, 10, 15 number you've evolved. 1. Hisui Dex entry number 221 Rufflet. The Eaglet Pokemon. Normal and flying type. Its chick-like looks belie its hot-headedness. It challenges its parents at every opportunity, desperate to prove its strength. When they finally arrive at the gate of Snowpoint Temple, Sabi is at the entrance and she says, Hi, again. Ash and Serena, it's nice having someone new out here to play with. Safety in numbers or something like that. Anyway, here's Snowpoint Temple. I've opened the front door for you. Just a little more chasing left for you to do. But the real question here is, am I really having fun playing with you? Or am I bored? That was just what you've asked back at the Icebound Falls. Ash mutters as they see her into the temple. I heard what Warden Sabi said. If you have Warden Sabi's approval to enter, then, by all means, do so. The Pearl Clan member who guards the door says. Even if they don't have her permission, they can have mine as well. Arita says as the guard bows to Arita. Then Arita says, but there is something you should be warned about. Those who cannot solve the temple's puzzles won't get very far within. So how are we going to solve it? Serena asks. I've heard that the trick is to pay attention to which way the stone statues are looking. Come to think of it, I believe the statues have some sort of patterns on their chests, too. Ash and Serena nod as the 4 of them enter the temple. After dodging some bronzongs on the way, they get to the 2nd floor and see the statues. Some of them have the rock-type symbol, the ice-type symbol, and the steel-type symbol. Ash says, it sure is referring to Regirock, Regice, and Registeel. But I don't think Regieleki or Regidraco are here. I heard about Snowpoint Temple as the place where Regigigas was sleeping though, Serena says. As they are blocked by the wall, they find 3 panels fitted into the door. They find some words on the door and it says, Whither the statues gaze. The puzzles are easy for Ash and Serena as they manage to get through each and every one of them, with the first one being rock, steel, and ice. The second one is trickier, as they have to find more statues and the final answer is ice, rock, steel, rock, ice. And the final one is also harder as the final answer is steel, ice, rock, ice, steel, rock. I wonder what will happen if we get all of them wrong, Serena asks. Probably some traps. Ash says, I don't want to think about it. They are a little confused as they haven't seen Regigigas in the whole temple. Instead, they see an Alpha Gallade who tries to attack them. Ash and Serena quickly capture it with the use of Ultra Balls, and they manage to do it in the end. Gallade's research tasks. Number caught. 1, 2, 4, 6, 10 number of alpha specimens caught. 1, 2, 3 number defeated. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 number of you've defeated with ghost type moves. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times you have seen it use swords dance. 1, 3, 6, 12, 25 times you have seen it use close combat. 1, 3, 8, 20, 40 times you've seen it use an agile style move. 1, 3, 10, 30, 70 times you've stunned it by using items. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hisui Dex entry number 104 Gallade. The Blade Pokemon. Psychic and Fighting type. Evolved from male Kirlia with Dawn Stone. The blades extending from its elbows are sharper than the finest swords. Its swordsmanship, albeit self-taught, is astonishingly impressive. And after getting to the final floor, Sabi is waiting for them and she says, "I guess I've been caught, so we're nearly done. That's no fun. All funs should come to an end." Ash sighs. "Hey, remember my clairvoyance? It showed me something else." Sabi says, "I saw you two flying with Braviary. Do you think that'll come to pass?" "We can make sure it does." Serena says. "Well, however the future turns out, flying with Braviary isn't easy. If you really want to be able to fly high in the sky, prove to me you're strong enough." Sabi says as she calls out a Rhyperior, Electivire, and a Magmortar. Ash and Serena gulp as all 3 of them are pretty strong. "Gonna take us on?" Sabi asks. "We're not scared," Ash says as they go with Lucario and Floatzel. Sabi says, "Now get ready, 'cause here come Rhyperior, Magmortar, and Electivire. All 3 of them, go." Then all 5 of them are having a battle, and every one of them are very strong, but Floatzel's Aqua Jet manages to defeat Rhyperior with ease. Lucario is also struggling as he keeps throwing Aura Spheres at the other 2 Pokemon. Lucario. "Remember our aura?" Ash says as Lucario nods, then they start to be as one as Ash commands it with Rock Slide, knocking the Magmortar out first, and then it goes for Bulldoze, defeating Electivire. "Wow, you caught us and you beat us. You've won all our games so far," Sabi says. "But Braviary still wants to get to know you even better. Up to the roof, we go." As they go to the roof, Braviary is already there waiting for them. Sabi says, "All right, Braviary. Why not test out Ash and Serena's strength for yourself?" Braviary nods as Ash goes with Glalie to battle. Glalie's Ice Beam deals a lot of damage, but Braviary manages to recover using Roost. Then it goes for a move called Esper Wing, which deals some critical damage. "So I guess it is a psychic type," Ash says. Glalie, Dark Pulse. Glalie goes with the move and finally defeats Braviary. Sabi frowns. "Grr. I can't believe Braviary lost. But that's that. Thanks for playing with me. Guess I'll head home now. Bye." "You're not going anywhere, Sabi," Adaman says. "You still remember what we're here for, right?" "Okay, I was kidding. Adaman," Sabi says, "play along with me on your flute." Then Serena starts to copy the tune Sabi is playing with the Celestica flute, and Braviary remembers the melody and gives them a sky plate. "The sky plate. The plate with the essence of flight," Ash says. "The being poured the remains of its power into stone and buried it deep. That's what it says." "Thanks, Sabi." Adaman says. "Sure. Having Ash and Serena to fly around with should be fun for Braviary," Sabi adds. "Yeah, I'm glad. A world where people and Pokemon live and work together, huh?" Adaman says as he looks at the rift. "Tell me, why do you think the lightning that comes from the rift would cause these frenzies? Do you think this is all Almighty Sinnoh's anger? Or do you think this is a trial it's putting to us?" Arita says, "If it is a trial, if we prove ourselves worthy, and we quell the last noble, calm Avalugg, then the rift really ought to close, right? Even if the ones who seem to be clearing this trial are newcomers like you, not one of us who've been living here in Hisui for ages now," Adaman mutters. "How come you're playing all wise? I thought you weren't a big thinker, Adaman," Sabi gasps. "Hush, Sabi. I can feel history on the move," Adaman says as he turns to Ash and Serena. "As far as I can see, the one ushering in this new era is you. So if I stick with you, someday I might get to meet Almighty Sinnoh myself. The question is, does listening to Adaman fascinate you? Or bore you to tears?" Sabi says. "Anyway, Ash and Serena, it's time for you to go soar with Braviary. If you jump from way up here, Braviary can take you gliding just about anywhere. But don't forget to get the eternal ice. That's why you needed Braviary in the first place, right? Arita adds. Ash and Serena nod as they go to the edge of the temple so that they can prepare gliding. Before reading to take off, they manage to use some wing balls to capture a Braviary in the air so that they can do some research about it. Braviary's research tasks. Number caught. 1, 2, 4, 10, 15 number you've caught while they were in the air. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times you have seen it use Esper Wing. 1, 3, 8, 20, 40 times you have seen it use Brave Bird. 1, 3, 6, 12, 25 times you've seen it use a strong style move. 1, 3, 10, 30, 70. Hisui Dex entry number 222 Braviary, Hisuian form. The battle cry Pokemon. Psychic and flying type. Evolved from Rufflet at LV. 54. Screaming a blood-curdling battle cry, this huge and ferocious bird Pokemon goes out on the hunt. It blasts lakes with shockwaves, then scoops up any prey that floats to the water's surface. Sabi walks towards them and she says, Avalug's legacy is down there, now go get a feel for flying with Braviary. When you're done soaring the skies and want to land, just ask him to dive. Since Braviary can only carry one person at a time, Ash goes first and then Serena. As Ash and Pikachu fly with Braviary, both of them feel amazed at the wind and Ash says, Pikachu, be careful not to fall off. Pikachu nods as he holds Ash tight, and they finally reach the top of the Avalug's legacy in no time. After a while, Serena also arrives as both of them try to find the eternal ice. After getting the eternal ice on the ground, they hear a sound as both Arita and, much to their surprise, Gyrick, arrives on top of the Avalug's legacy. At last, this summit is conquered, Gyrick says. Wait, sir? You climbed this ice on your own? Arita asks with surprise. And I see you made it, too? Gyrick laughs. Flew down to this place and obtained the eternal ice, did you? What drives that burning zeal of yours, I wonder. Ash and Serena give Gyrick the eternal ice, and he says, I do have to respect the effort you've put in. I may still have my own doubts weighing on my mind, but I will make the necessary preparations so that you can face my lord, Avalug. Meet me at Icepeak Arena. Before Gyrick leaves, he says, now, don't try to repeat the wondrous feat you're about to see me perform. A tall leap like this can only be managed by highly toned bodies like mine. Till next we meet. Just then, he jumps down from the tall ice, much to everyone's shock is the fact that he is safe and sound. Adaman also arrives and he asks, did I miss something? Well, we are just about to head to the Icepeak Arena, big bro, Ash says. If that's the case, I can show you the way. Adaman says. No, I'll show the way. This Alabaster Icelands is kind of Pearl Clan territory, Arita says. Suit yourself. Adaman chuckles as they all head to the Icepeak Arena. Without wasting time to capture some Pokemon, they stop halfway to see Gyrick talking to Volo. Now I wonder if he really is stalking us, Ash mutters. Why if it isn't Ash, Serena, Adaman, and Arita? Volo says. What a pleasure, finding a familiar face, or any face, in this far corner of the Alabaster Icelands. I came to bring Gyrick an order of swordcaps, and he was more than willing to have a chat about Avalug. What do you say? Interested in a bit of gossip? Make it quick. Serena says. So, Avalug, yes? The fifth of Hisui's nobles, Volo says. That he is. And you know what? He's an absolute beast, Gyrick adds. Well, yes. According to what I was told, not only does he barrage you with chunks of ice, he also fires off massive icicles, and he can cause sharp ice crystals to erupt from the ground below you. Doesn't that seem a bit too powerful to take on? What's more, apparently the Avalug of old could be up to 100 feet tall. Doesn't that seem a bit too big to take on? Ash and Serena now start to worry, since they are trying to fight against a giant. Gyrick says, oh, you'll be all right. You just have to eat some swordcaps, then give your training your all. Nothing better for building muscle than that. Onward now, to the arena. As Gyrick leaves, Volo says, yes, well, I did want to see that Avalug but perhaps not at the cost of my life. So I suppose my freezing digits and I will be off. Then Volo leaves as they continue to climb the mountain to get to the Icepeak Arena. Gyrick says, so we are to quell Avalug, as you wished. In the end, the strength of your feelings won out. Or maybe your real strength comes from the way that you walk among both people and Pokemon. Well, I suppose I'd better get to work making some bombs using that eternal ice. I've heard how they are made, and with muscles like mine, it'll be only a moment's work. Just then, without the four of them helping, Girik manages to make the bombs, and he adds, if you truly wish to quell Avalugg, then walk on. The path lies before you, but know that Avalugg will hurl chunks of ice at you without relent. You'll need unrivaled dodging ability. We're not going to let that hurt us, Ash says. As they walk forward, they stopped at the cliff and they feel the ground shaking. Just then, Avalugg rises to the ground. Ash and Serena gasp at the sight of the Pokemon as they are shaking right now. They don't know the reason for their shaking is because of the cold or fear. I can't believe he is this huge, even though we know this firsthand, Ash mutters. It starts to go with the ice balls, it continuously shoots to form a zigzag. Ash and Serena have to dodge and throw the bombs at the same time. Ash says, we have got burned, got paralyzed, let's try not to get frozen. Agreed. Then Avalugg decides to do another attack. It makes icicles appear on the ground, and luckily Ash and Serena dodge in time before they come from the ground below them. What's next? Serena asks, and then it starts to hurl chunks of ice, and they are so fast. While dodging, Ash says, there really isn't much space for us to dodge. Yeah, and we have to make sure we didn't hit each other while dodging, Serena adds. And finally, Avalugg starts to charge up a strong ice beam and tries to shoot them like some sort of laser. Ash and Serena manage to jump at the same time to dodge. Noticing that Avalugg is getting tired, Ash sends out Lucario and yells, Aura Sphere. Lucario fires the attack and one-shot the Pokemon. Serena says, it is ice and rock type. That explains why Lucario is overpowerful against him. Ash says as they do the same thing as other battles. The two of them have been trying not to take some damages from the attacks, but they are not careful enough as they bump with each other and take the icicle hit. Ash, Serena. Are you alright? Rita yells. We're fine. Ash and Serena say in unison. Both of them have cuts on their body and they are shivering, but with the help of Lucario, they manage to throw the last bomb at Avalugg, causing its frenzy to disappear. Ash and Serena realize that the lower half of Avalugg's body is made of rock, which explains the rock typing. Avalugg roars and throws a plate at Ash, which is the icicle plate, the plate with the essence of ice. Two beings of time and space set free from the original one. Ash mutters, but both of them are tired as Adaman volunteers to help them. Rita notices Girik's head lowering and says, Girik, sir, you needn't look quite so downcast. But seeing mighty Avalugg quelled, and by such slight children. Girik mutters, a child that fell from the very sky. Are Ash and Serena some kind of monsters in disguise? They are no monsters. Rita shakes her head. They're the ones who risked their lives without a second thought in order to quell our frenzied, suffering nobles. After healing, Ash, Serena, and Adaman walk towards Rita and Girik. Rita says, Ash and Serena. Girik cares for the Pearl clan with all his heart and believes in Almighty Sinnoh just as deeply. So he has feared more than any of us that getting involved with the Diamond clan and your Galaxy team could cause our people to flag in their devotion to Almighty Sinnoh. But that will change. Rita. Girik asks. I know your fears will change once you see what I've seen. Ash and Serena have much to teach us. They've shown us how we can overcome all manner of strife, so long as our Pokemon are with us. They made me want to help Glaceon realize greater strength as well, and to see my whole world grow broader. It seems you've already changed, Rita. Girik says with a small smile. Sabi also arrives at the arena with the help of Braviary, and Adaman turns to Ash and Serena. I knew you could pull that off, Ash and Serena. You quelled every last frenzied noble. So is that space-time rift going to start closing up now or what? Rita says, there's little way of knowing for sure. Though the rift does seem perhaps a little smaller, somehow. Let's hope so, anyway. Adaman says. Well, with any luck, things will settle down now. Although even if the rift does start spitting out more of that strange lightning, we should still be all right as long as we've got Ash and Serena. Indeed we should be. It's good to have them at our side, Rita says. Adaman turns to Rita and says, you know something, Rita? We may never agree on who's got it right about Almighty Sinnoh, but you Pearl Clan folk aren't all bad in my book. Look who's finally seen reason. Arita smiles. Anyway, now that we've quelled the last noble, I say we pay grim old Commander Kamado a visit and see if he'll finally crack a smile for us, Adaman says. Yeah. Ash and Serena nod as they all leave the Icepeak arena. At the same time, in a secluded place, a woman is sitting at a house as a glow appears behind her. The woman asks, if you're here again, I suppose that Ash and Serena have quelled the last frenzy, right? Indeed. But the problem won't disappear because of it, the glow says. In fact, they will be getting into the darkest times. And this is when I can help them out, are you telling me this? The woman asks. You don't need to worry about it. The glow fades and the woman looks at the rift from the window. We'll be meeting soon, my descendant of the Ketchum family. After getting back to the Snowfields camp, they meet Professor Laventon and he says, you managed to quell Lord Avalugg? Fantastic stuff. As always, I'm sure the commander is eagerly awaiting your report. To the village. After getting back to the village, they find Commander Kamado and he says, each of the Pokemon nobles became frenzied. And now each of them has been quelled. We still have no explanation for why this calamity befell us, but I'm glad to see it put to an end. And to think peace would be restored to Hisui by the hand of our mysterious rift-born helper. When tomorrow dawns, it will dawn on a world restored to normalcy. At long last, we will be able to return to our normal lives. Go nourish yourself at the wallflower, and allow yourself a good, long rest. Ash and Serena nod, and Kamado adds, don't forget, the Survey Corps' work is not over. It does not end until our people can live here in Hisui without fearing the Pokemon around us. After leaving, they are now at the wallflower with Akari and Laventon. Laventon takes a bite of the potato mochi and says, thanks for this nice, sizable helping of potato mochi, Benny, old chum. Oh, and if there's anything else that you'd recommend, by all means, bring it out. After Benny leaves, Akari turns to Ash and Serena, having the nobles all quelled puts a grave threat to rest. Now it's time we focused on our survey work. Though we still can't let our guard down around regular wild Pokemon, of course. I certainly had my reservations as to whether Avalugg needed quelling, but if it means bringing calm to everyone, then I suppose we did the right thing, Laventon says. Yes. Someone might have been under attack by some frenzied noble this very moment if Ash and Serena hadn't come falling out of the sky to us. Akari says. I still wonder, though, just what is the space-time rift, anyway? And what will make it finally go? Wait, if the rift were to vanish, would that leave Ash and Serena stranded here? Ash and Serena look at each other as they are not sure about that. Laventon says, well, our little team is certainly very practiced at investigating things by now. We'll look into the matter and find a solution. I've no doubt. And even if we don't, you'll always have a home here in Jubilife Village, Ash and Serena. Now then, tomorrow's soon upon us, and it'll be another hard day at work for the Survey Corps. Don't forget what we've got our sights on. Nothing less than a completed Pokédex. That's right. We'll get it down, with Ash and Serena in the lead and me as the valiant assistant, Akari says. Assistant. Come now, Akari. Don't sell yourself short. You're a full-fledged member of the Survey Corps, too, Laventon says. Well, thanks for that, Professor. Then I guess I'd better eat my fill and get plenty of energy for another long day tomorrow. Akari smiles. The next day, it is also a normal day. Ash and Serena are going to continue working on the side requests. First, they go to the clothes store and find Anthe. The color of your clothing can make all the difference in the world, don't you think? Of course. Serena says. Absolutely, I bet you would like to dress up in your favorite color. I want to make clothing in new colors, but I can't get a hold of the right materials. If you happen to have red shards, blue shards, and green shards, would you kindly give me one of each? They are found in the space-time distortions, and we used up for the comet shards, Serena mutters. But we haven't encountered one in the Alabaster Islands, so let's try to find one, Ash says. Back in the Alabaster Islands, they manage to wait for a space-time distortion and go inside. Not only do they find some shards that they want, but they also find Oshawott and some Pokemon they haven't found. Espeon's research tasks. Number caught. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times you have seen it use baby doll eyes. 1, 2, 4, 10, 15 times you have seen it use psychic. 1, 3, 8, 20, 40 times you've seen it use an agile style move. 1, 3, 10, 30, 70. Hisui Dex entry number 29 Espeon. The Sun Pokemon. Psychic type. Evolved from Eevee with high friendship during daytime. Wields an arcane power with which it can predict the weather and even people's thoughts. When bathed in sunshine, the scarlet orb on its brow glows and builds energy. Scissor's research tasks. Number caught. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 number defeated. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 number of you've defeated with fire type moves. 1, 2, 3 times you have seen it use double hit. 1, 3, 6, 12, 25 times you have seen it use X scissor. 1, 3, 8, 20, 40 times you've seen it use an agile style move. 1, 2, 4, 10, 15 number of different forms you've obtained. 2. Hisui Dex entry number 74 Scizor. The Pincer Pokemon. Bug and Steel type. Evolved from Scyther with metal coat. Evolved by way of a curious item. The shell covering its body has been shown to be stronger than forged steel. And I was hoping to find a Glaceon. Ash mutters after the distortion ends. Well, we still get an Eevee and we can evolve it at the icy rocks. Yeah. Serena nods. After returning to the clothes store, Anthe looks at the shards and says, "Such beautiful shards. I'm sure these will work perfectly. Now then, let me try and dye something. I can make anything into a beautiful dye if I cook it down in the trusty cauldron inside my shop." They decide to check it out as they see how the dye works, and after printing the dye on the clothes, she says, "A color more beautiful than I even imagined. And all thanks to you, dear customer. I hope you enjoy the different looks that new colors bring to your outfits." They see a lot of clothes that are azalea, chartreuse, scarlet, and teal colors, and they are very happy at their work. But just as they head out of the store, they find that Dao Hua is yelling at Choi, "Never, never, you whelp." Then he walks away with a grump, and Choi turns to the fore, "Oh, dear customer. I'm sorry you had to see that. I asked Dao Hua to supply me with some new goods, but he simply won't do business with me. I truly hate to keep imposing like this, but would you please try to make him see reason? You'd do well to bring him a token of goodwill. Perhaps some sand radishes? 3 ought to do." The 4th time. Arita says, "Just what did that guy steal from the head of the supply corps?" "I don't know." Adaman replies. After getting the sand radishes from the craftworks, they find Dao Hua and he says, "Ah, the Survey Corps recruits who quelled the Lord of the Hollow. I'm sorry to keep getting roped into errands on my account. To tell you the truth, I'd be happy to just get my corpse products out to the shop for free. But that'd mean letting Choi off the hook, and the very idea of that sets my teeth gnashing. Are you bound for the Alabaster Icelands soon? Would you bring me back 3 sand radishes?" "We already have them," Ash says as he hands over the radishes. "Well done gathering them back in a harsh climate. Ah, sand radishes. The Alabaster Iceland's finest feature. If you give these bitter roots a nice, thorough pickling, it brings out a unique sweetness. Once they're pickled, they make for a lovely crisp, and quite well-liked snack. My granddaughter makes a fine pickle. I tell you what. Perhaps I'll ask her to give one of these a nice briny soak. Anyway, I'm sorry to have kept on using you as a go-between with Choi. I suppose it's time I had a proper conversation with the whelp." After heading outside to the store, Dao Hua says, "Now listen, I'll set you up with some new goods, but as a favor to Ash and Serena, not you. Don't think for 1 second this means I've accepted you." But Dao Hua, "Sir," Choi mutters, but he is interrupted by a girl named Yui. "Oh, please, Grandpa. I can't believe this is still an issue for you." "Yui, how long have you been?" Dao Hua gasps. "What? Is our little store not worthy to sell your goods? Talk about letting personal feelings get in the way of your business. If you keep this up, Grandpa, I swear I'll never speak to you again," Yui demands. "Goo. But why, sweet Yui? You swore you'd never get married and leave your poor Gramps." Dao Hua pleads, but Yui just ignores him. Who in their right mind takes a tiny child's words so seriously? Yui mutters. She turns to Ash and Serena. "I'm so sorry my grandpa has been such a bother to you, Ash and Serena. I hope this doesn't put you off visiting our shop. Ash says, so the thing that Choi stole from Dao Hua, was his granddaughter all along because of the marriage? Serena says, now that I think about it, it is kind of stupid. Well, in any case, we've got excellent new items on our shelves. Do buy some, Choi says as he adds full restores, ultra balls, max revives, sticky globs and salt cakes into the store. And the next request is from Pessel of the Medicinal Corps, and she says, hello again. Would you do me a quick little favor? Sure, what is it? Serena asks. Don't worry, it's really simple. Could you bring me 100 medicinal leeks? Just then, the air silences for a while until Rita asks, what? 100? These leeks are well known for growing practically all over the region. They're also called Wayfarer's friends. Knowing you, I bet you could gather 100 of them in your sleep. Once you have 100 medicinal leeks you can spare for me, please do bring them on by. They decide to buy them from the Ginkgo Guild, and luckily, they sell one for $120. Serena says, if only we knew this request soon, we wouldn't be wasting them on making full restores. I know. Ash adds. After giving her the leeks, she says, ah, what fine leeks. This will be enough to make plenty of medicine. I'm always running out, what with our constant stream of injured colleagues. This way, the medical corps can prepare a nice stock for the folks who can't craft their own medicines like you can. Then she gives them an adamant mint and the modest mint as rewards, and they decide to head back outside of the Galaxy Hall. They head outside and find a group of 3 people arguing. The first one named Leaf says, I'm telling you, Burmy is the Pokemon with a cloak made of leaves. The second one named Duna says, no, Burmy cloaks are made of minerals like sand and rock. I'm quite sure of it. The third one named Tarish says, ha, if it ain't covered in trash, it ain't a Burmy. Leaf sighs, ha. This conversation is getting us nowhere. Are you both sure you've actually seen a Burmy before? It wasn't some other Pokemon? We might ask you the same question as well, Duna replies. I've seen Burmy here in Hisui, and I've seen him back in my own region too. And guess what? They're all covered in trash, Tarish adds. Oh my. You must have gotten confused somehow, my dear, Duna retorts back. Please, both of you, we're just repeating the same arguments over and over at this point. They notice Ash in the group and Leaf says, hey, you're from the Survey Corps, aren't you? We could figure out which of us is right pretty quick if someone brought us an actual Burmy. Catch one and come show it to us, would you? Ash and Serena sigh as they bring all 3 Burmy to them, one at a time. The first one is the plant cloak, and Leaf says, yup, this is a Burmy, all right. It's similar, dear, I'll grant you that. But this must be a different species, Duna says. Yeah, I ain't buying it. This ain't a Burmy, Tarish says. Well, if the real deal can't convince these 2, I guess we'll need to look at the fake Burmy too. Leaf says. Could you try to catch both the so-called Burmy that my companions here were talking about? Ash sighs as he sends out the sand cloak next, and Duna says, take a good look, both of you. This little one is the real Burmy. Air. I guess it looks pretty similar, but there's no way this is a Burmy, Leaf says. Yeah, I gotta agree. Where's its trash at, huh? Tarish asks. Honestly, how can someone still be in doubt after seeing a real Burmy right up close? Duna asks. I suppose we'll need to compare it to those false Burmy to prove the point. Can you carry on until you've brought both the Burmy look-alikes these 2 spoke of, my dear? The third one is the trash cloak, and Tarish says, oh, now that's a Burmy, and no mistake. Huh? I don't know about that. Leaf says. Indeed. This Pokemon is no Burmy, Duna says. Well, we've all seen each other's supposed real Burmy. But we're no closer to agreeing on anything. Nothing else for it. Let's have Professor Laventon decide. The Burmy he chooses to put in the Pokédex will be considered the real Burmy, Leaf says. Oh, let us say about this. Serena says, all of them are Burmy, just with different forms. Wait, so you're saying that Pokemon of the same species can come in forms as different as these? Duna asks. How incredible. Yeah, so all of you are right, you were just wasting your breath arguing something that is unimportant, Ash says. Geez. Well, I'm sorry I was so harsh to both of ya, Tarish says. No, I'm just as much at fault. Duna replies. But really, this whole escapade has taught us a lot about Pokemon. I'm truly glad. I apologize for getting a little heated back there too. But it all turned out well in the end. And sorry for getting you caught up in our mess. You did a great job clearing up our confusion. They give them a leaf stone and 3 express candy M as rewards, and then they decide to leave them alone. They see Arezu thinking as she mutters, No, that's not right, either. It needs a special extra something, but what? She notices Ash in the group and she says, Oh. Nice timing as always, I could use your help again coming up with some new hairstyles. I've hit another wall here. What is it this time? Adaman asks. Now, I bet I could get inspiration from a different Pokemon this time. A Pokemon like? Yeah, Kirlia. I can't remember how it looks exactly, but I'm pretty sure it has a real distinct style. If I could study one up nice and close, I bet it'd get me past this block. Ash and Serena know that Arezu wants to see a Kirlia, so they quickly rush to the pastures and show her the Kirlia. You know, they say Kirlia just loves to dance. I kinda get it. That feeling when your hair sways around you while you're dancing. It's the best. Actually, yeah. That's the sort of hairstyle I want to go for. Now, how to gather up the hair the right way. And where should it be let down? After thinking, she smiles. Oh, I've got it. That's what I'll do. Boy, I owe you one. Thanks to you and Kirlia, I've got ideas for some new hairstyles. And new colors. Like no one's ever seen. Then they see how Arezu shows the top knot and modern short for males, and formal updo and modern short for females. As for the colors, she goes with ash blonde, periwinkle, ash brown, and flax. Serena says, good one, having your name in 2 of the hair colors. I don't know if it should be funny, Ash mutters. Inside the Galaxy Hall, they find another request on the board as they read it. Pippa of the Supply Corps says a kindly Pokemon called Blissey saved her from a sticky situation. Speak with Pippa about this incident and do your utmost to be of help, if you would. They find the said woman in Alabaster Iceland's snowfield camp, and she says, I've been waiting for you, Survey Corps recruits. I want to give my thanks to a certain Blissey that aided me when I was left injured by a wild Pokemon. Help me find it, would you? It was a wild Pokemon that hurt me, and it was a wild Pokemon that helped me. It's a curious world we live in, wouldn't you say? But even to a Pokemon, one must always give thanks for the care one receives. I'd be the shame of my corps if I failed to do even that much. Join me at Avalug's Legacy, here in the Alabaster Icelands. That's where I met that Blissey. After she leaves, they decide to meet up with her at the Avalug's Legacy. Once they reach there, they find her and she says, So you've come to help me search out Blissey, have you? It was around here that I met it, but I don't see it now. When do you meet it? Ash asks. Now, let me think. As I recall, when I'd been out here for a little while, I simply turned around. And there was an Abomasnow, Pippa says. And much to their surprise, the Abomasnow that she mentioned tried to attack them with Wood Hammer, and Ash quickly has Arcanine use Raging Fury to defeat it. It's quite as I thought. Blissey may be one thing, but other Pokemon are still terrifying, Pippa says as she suddenly falls to the ground. Rita asks, Are you okay? Ow. Ooh, and it seems I managed to twist my ankle in all the excitement, Pippa mutters. And then the Blissey comes and it uses soft boiled to heal the ankle, and Ash says, Looks like we found Blissey. Pippa says, Well, this is a bit of fortune in misfortune. I brought these berries to thank you for your help before, Blissey. Here you go. Blissey grabs the berries and rushes towards Abomasnow, giving the berries to it. Pippa says, Blissey is terribly kind, isn't it? It treats anyone who needs its help, be they human or Pokemon. Then she gives them a shiny stone and 2 max revives as rewards. Then because of Eevee, they decide to find the icy rock, and they manage to find one in one of the holes in the Icelands. So this is where icy rock is. It sure is a little deep, Ash says. But we just need to let Eevee touch it, we can just have it touch the place and then go back up. Serena says as they do it, and now they have a Glaceon in the team. Glaceon's research tasks. Number caught. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times you have seen it use baby doll eyes. 1, 2, 4, 10, 15 times you have seen it use Ice Beam. 1, 3, 8, 20, 40 times you've seen it use an agile style move. 1, 3, 10, 30, 70. Hisui Dex entry number 32 Glaceon. The fresh snow Pokemon. Ice type. Evolved from Eevee at the icy rock. Glaceon is able to lower its body temperature very quickly. It freezes the atmosphere, creating diamond dust that glares like gems while it flutters and dances around. As they get back to the Galaxy Hall for the next request, they read, "It seems Morel the Mushroom Hunter needs a helping hand." Or knows. Make use of Swinub's special skills and fulfill his request. They have to go back to Alabaster Islands again to find Morel, and they find him at the Pearl Settlement. He says, "Glad to see you all the way out here. I've been waiting patiently for a request. What say you to a spot of mushroom hunting? In the snow? The Pearl clan told me that the shrooms growing around Heart's Crag are quite the delicacy. But these little gems are buried in the snow, and only a Swinub's nose can snuffle them out. This is where your skills come in. Catch yourself a Swinub, take it out foraging, and see if you can find those mushrooms. 3 would be great." Ash and Serena sigh as they look for the mushrooms with Swinub's help. After sniffing something, Morel asks, "Oh ho! Found one, did you? A fine mushroom indeed, well done." And after digging, they find the first mushroom. 2 mushrooms left now. Have a Swinub accompany you around Heart's Crag and snuffle them out from under the snow. They nod as they continue to dig, but they find a Snover that tries to attack them. Ash manages to have Typhlosion attack the Pokemon and knock it out. Morel says, "Gosh, I thought you were slacking off, wasting time with that Pokemon battle." He picks up the second shroom and says, "But look at this splendid specimen of a mushroom you've found. You're a natural at this foraging stuff, you know. Only 1 mushroom left." And after finding the final mushroom, he says, "Wow, you and Swinub sunfled this one out quick. I just knew you were the right person for the job." "That's 3 of them," Ash says. "Fantastic effort indeed. You and Swinub did a great job tracking down those 3 mushrooms I was after. It sure was fun foraging with you both. Pokemon and people together make for a great team. I can't wait to forage with you elsewhere. Perhaps with a new Pokemon pal along to help. It'll be hard to top Swinub, though. Its snuffling skills may well be the best out there. Thinking about it, it was a Swinub that discovered the hot spring in the Pearl Settlement, too. Maybe I should really just partner up with a Swinub, huh? Morel and Swinub. The mushroom hunting dream duo. Sounds good, doesn't it?" Then they are given 5 sand radishes and an express candy L as rewards. After that, they bid farewell to Morel. Before leaving Heart's Crag, they find Alpha Gardevoir in the area as they quickly capture it. Gardevoir's research tasks. Number caught. 1, 2, 4, 6, 10 number of alpha specimens caught. 1, 2, 3 number defeated. 1, 2, 4, 6, 10 number of you've defeated with steel type moves. 1, 2, 3 times you have seen it use Dazzling Gleam. 1, 3, 6, 12, 25 times you have seen it use Psychic. 1, 3, 8, 20, 40 times you've seen it use an Agile style move. 1, 3, 8, 20, 40. Hisui Dex entry number 103 Gardevoir. The Embrace Pokemon, Psychic and Fairy type. Evolved from Kirlia at LV. 30. It will dedicate itself to defending a master it has come to adore. Its pure white dress, reminiscent of those worn by ladies of nobility, is the dress of one who is willing to risk their life. They walk on the Alabaster Islands and find a man named Bryce, and he says, "I came to set up another base camp, but I don't spy Craig from the construction corps. I told him to meet me near the base of the falls here in the Alabaster Islands, so where is he? He's not the type to usually get lost, so I'm honestly a bit worried. Do me a favor? Would you find Craig for me?" "Sure." Ash and the group decide to search for him on the other side of the fall, and he is there. Craig says, "2 of the Survey Corps, aren't you? Well, this is fortuitous. Have you seen Bryce? Bryce from the Supply Corps? He's the one who told me to meet him at the base of the falls, and yet he hasn't shown. We met him, and he is on the other shore across the river over there." Ash points at the shore, and he says, "I'm glad you came around, or I might have been waiting here till I turned into a block of ice. I'll hurry off to find Bryce, then, so we can get that camp up and running in no time." After rushing back to where Bryce is, he says, "Brr, it's cold as a Cubcoo's snot out here. How do those Pearl Clan people stand it?" "Excuse me? We live here for a lot of years, Rita says while rolling her eyes. Boy, do I owe you for finding Craig for me. Now we can finally get things set up, Bryce says. After waiting for a while to see them setting up the base, Bryce says, and here you have it, our newest base camp. Stop by any time you need. Laventon also brings a lot of staff here and he is shivering. Goodness, I don't know how the Pokemon living in this frigid place find the energy to dash about as they do. Do they have a nice layer of insulating fat? Perhaps. There must be some trick to it. I agree. Adaman nods. One of the staff members here is the balloon raceman, and he says, I tell you, there's no better way to stave off the cold than to run around and burst balloons. I run the balloon race in these parts. Would you care to have a go? You just need to burst as many of my adorable balloons as possible while riding a Pokemon. It's a blast, really, if you manage to burst, say, 30 balloons. Well, that'd be an impressive start. How about it, kids? Want to play? Ash says, Serena, do you want to do it or I? Serena says, you do it, Ash. I know you can do it. Just don't be reckless. Ash nods, and the man continues, there are a total of 50 balloons on the course. Let's see how many of them you can burst in 2 minutes. Now, get out there and get bursting. Ash is now struggling a lot as he has to change from Wordeer to Sneasler, and then go into the water with Basculegion and then fly into the air with Braviary. And he has to make sure he holds onto Braviary tight so that he won't fall to his doom. And he gets the final balloon in the last second, much to his relief. Welcome back. You burst. 0.50 balloons. A perfect score. Here are your rewards. He gives them 3 nuggets and a grid rock. He adds, and what you know? You beat my target of bursting at least 30 balloons. Well done, you. Adaman says, that sure is very intense. I agree. Rita says, there are some times I thought Ash would have lost his life for sure. After that's done, Bryce has another request for them. It's so cold, I can't even feel my fingers. I can't work like this. I just want to earn my way up through the ranks. But to do that, I've got to at least warm myself up enough to feel my fingers. Do you think you could bring me a Pokemon that's good at manipulating flames? Then it could keep our fire roaring for me. Sure, we have another Magmar that we can give you, Ash says as they give him the Pokemon. I'm already feeling much warmer, thanks to this Pokemon of yours. Now I can focus on my work. Though. Now that I'm so warm and comfortable, I seem to yawn. Find my eyelids dropping. Then they see that the man falls asleep, and they have to wake him up. Gawk? And no, I wasn't sleeping, I swear. Bryce then gives them 3 full restores and an express candy L, and then they decide to head back to Jubilife Village. After getting back to the Galaxy Hall, they realize that Zeke is panicking again, and they know what is going to happen. Now here's the people I was hoping for. Wanda's constant saviors, Ash and Serena. I'm afraid the day has finally come. This time Wanda couldn't even find her way back from the Obsidian Fieldlands, right on our own doorstep. Seriously? I thought she would be at Alabaster Icelands, Serena mutters. It's practically our own backyard, right? She should know her way around, so I'm worried that something happened to her. I'd really appreciate some help from you and that Ursaluna. Use the scent from Wanda's raggedy old kerchief and search her out for me. Just great, Ash mutters as they all go to the Obsidian Fieldlands. After picking up her scent, they find her at Nature's Pantry as she is surrounded by 3 Paras. Eek, help, oh, please, I don't want to sprout mushrooms. Ash has Staraptor and Gliscor help her chase away the Paras, and after making sure she's safe, Wanda says, THTH thank you, I swear I'd never survive here in Hisui without you as teammates. I came to patrol because I know some of the villagers come out here to hunt for mushrooms. While keeping an eye out for them, I ended up hunting around a bit myself for some finds. But the mushrooms ended up hunting me. Yeah, and your brother has to ask us to look for you again, Ash says. I guess my brother is probably a mess worrying about me again, huh? But you're so good at battling. Probably even better suited to the security corps than I am. Wanda says as they head back to the Galaxy Hall. Zeke finds them and he says, thank you for saving Wanda yet again. I'm so glad we've got the Survey Corps to rely on. I was chilled to my marrow when I heard my sister was caught up in a Pokemon attack this time. If only she could just get herself assigned to patrolling the village for a while, nice and safe. He gives them 3 star pieces this time, and they put it into the satchel and leave. They stop by Radisa's store and she has another request. I've come up with the perfect pickle recipe thanks to Geodude. Aren't you curious? Radisa asks. We're curious about that. Ash says. Tell you what, my dear. Help me gather the ingredients, and I'll teach you the recipe. I'll need 2 hunks of crunchy salt, 2 pods of plump beans, and 2 bunches of king's leaf. Ash and Serena manage to buy the ingredients from the Ginkgo Guild in the craft shop, and they manage to bring them back to Radisa. Lovely, I already have the sand radishes I need, so let's get pickling. Now they start to work on the pickles as they mix all the ingredients together. After putting them into the giant pot, Radisa says, now for the final step. All we need to do is place Geodude on top of the pot, and it's done. But just as Geodude moves towards the pot, it starts to glow white. Radisa gasps, what in the world? The light dies down and a graveler appears in front of them. Gosh! Geodude changed shape. Radisa says. Is this the evolution business I've heard people talk about? And what about the pickles? After Graveler jumps down from the pot, Radisa decides to taste the pickles, and she says, oh my. This is twice as good as I expected, I'll call it. The twice spiced radish. It truly is the perfect pickle dish. Why, with the help of Pokemon, there are no limits to what a cook can accomplish. Thank you so much for helping me out. Then she gives them the twice spiced radishes and the recipe so that they can try to make them, and after tasting them, Adaman says, this sure is a nice taste. But I can feel my mouth burning a little, Irida mutters. And before getting back to the Galaxy Hall, they find a Ginkgo Guild member named Mani and he says, if it isn't our beloved customers. Might I trouble you to help me with a little survey work? What is it? Serena asks. In my family, we've always passed down tales of some ancestor that lived in a village around the avalanche slopes. But I've never been able to find any hint of such a settlement ever existing. I'm beginning to doubt the tales are true. But everyone wants to know about where they came from, don't they? So help me out. See if you can find any evidence people ever lived around the avalanche slopes. Ash and Serena nod as they go back to Alabaster Islands for the request, and they get to the place to find 2 Snorunt. Both of them quickly run away after seeing them, and they find a torn journal they have left. February 5. I was on my way back to the village when a blizzard blew in. I decided to take refuge for the night in one of the mountain huts. I awoke at dawn due to some noise. Before me stood a Arbit in a fine kimono. Our eyes met, and beauty stole the breath fro my breast, yet it a terrible beauty, frighten. To behold. ICL. D my eyes in terror, waiting for th. To move on and lee. Me in peace. When. Ext I open my eyes, the had disappear. Leaving behind Nothi. But the driven. Serena says. The rest of the pages seem to be missing. Adaman says. I wonder if those Snowrunts took them. They chase after the Snowrunt, and suddenly, the 2 of them yell, and a Frostlass appears in front of them. It starts to attack them, but Ash has Glalie defeated with the crunch attack. After they fled, the missing pages are now on the ground. September 1st. It's hard to believe it's been years now since. And I began living together in the large, I was flip. Through my old journal entries today and open to be reminded of th. I met once, in an odd way, reminds me of the that I met that day, but I remind myself th. I live in the real world, not in a RLD of old fairy tales. Surely such things circa be true. January 3rd. Why did I do it? Why d? I have to remember that. Why speak of? To my dear. I regret so am. It's too late for reg. Now. Is gone. I have lost. Forever, I know it, disappeared, Levy. Behind nothing but the driving snow. Oh whoa, why did I? Speak of it, if only I held my tongue, kept my silence, I wouldn't have ever been. To know. Such grief. Serena finishes reading. No one says a thing as they bring the journal back to Mani of the Ginkgo Guild. He says, did you find any trace of a settlement that might once have been around the avalanche slopes? We found this. Ash says as he tries to find the old journal, only to find that it is not in the satchel. Strange. The journal is missing. What? You say you found an old journal but now it's gone. And you got it from a Pokemon? Well, don't leave me in suspense. What in the world did it say? Mani asks, and Serena manages to remember everything and say it to him. That lines up exactly with the stories I heard from my old gran about the village. Which means that it's true. My ancestors really did come from a village that once existed there. You have no idea how many years I've wondered if I could believe those old tales or not. I really owe you a great deal for looking into this for me and clearing up my doubts. Then he gives them a Dawn Stone as a reward. He adds, but you still have to wonder. Why would a Pokemon be carrying an old journal that once belonged to a human? And you say it disappeared? I almost wonder if somehow it returned to that Pokemon again. Ash and Serena shiver a little before leaving the basement to check out more requests. The next request is from the Galaxy Hall request board, and they read, Kika, a Security Corps fellow from Alola, has several Vulpix. But he calls them Kakeo. Track him down and see what his request entails. Serena says, Alolan Vulpix? I have always wanted to get one. I know what you mean. Ash says, but Lily has one and called her Snowy. Yeah, but the white Vulpix is so cute, don't you think? Serena asks. I have never seen a white Vulpix before, maybe it is interesting as well, Rita says. After getting back to the Alabaster Islands, they find the Security Corps member named Kika, and he says, just the person I've been waiting for. My Kakeo wandered off to go play, but they haven't come back yet. Do you think you could help me find them? Do you mean the Alolan Vulpix? Ash asks, and he nods. Oh, I'm sorry. Back home in Alola, Vulpix were called Kakeo, you see. Just then, they see an Alolan Vulpix rushes to Kika, and Serena gasps, the Alolan Vulpix. You're right, it is cute, Rita squeals a little. Girls. Adaman mutters, only for Rita to ask, you've got a problem? Oh, did you not go to play with the rest? Kika asks the Vulpix, who barks as confirmation. This is what an Alolan Vulpix looks like. They blend right into the snow with their white fur, so trying to find them all just by myself would take ages. And I'm still missing 5 of them. You should be able to find my Vulpix playing around the avalanche slopes. Could you find them all and tell them to come back? Ash and Serena nod as they all head to the Alabaster Islands to find the Vulpix, and they have a hard time finding all 5 Vulpix that are hidden. With the Ninetales' help, all 5 of them are now back with them to Kika. Thanks for helping me search for them. They're all back, safe and sound. Then Kika rewards them with an express candy L. Just then, 2 Vulpix rush to Ash and Serena, as Kika says, oh, these 2 seem to have taken a liking to you. If it's all right with you, could you take these little ones with you? I'm certain it'll help with your survey work. That will be nice. Ash says as they all get their own Vulpix. He says, we'll be here at the Snowfields camp for a while. I'd love it if you'd stop by from time to time and show me how Vulpix is doing. Ash and Serena nod as they are about to leave, but one Vulpix manages to get an ice stone from the satchel and evolves into a Ninetales. An Alolan Ninetales. It's so beautiful, Serena gasps. Indeed. Adaman agrees. Hisui Dex entry number 168 Vulpix, Alolan form. The Fox Pokemon. Ice type. These Pokemon live in packs in the snowy mountains and defend themselves with icy breath. I suspect this species changed its form to adapt to the frigid climate. Hisui Dex entry number 169 Ninetales, Alolan form. The Fox Pokemon. Ice and Fairy type. Evolved from Alolan Vulpix with Ice Stone. Dwells on sacred peaks perpetually covered in snow. Said to appear to virtuous people who have lost their way on mountain paths. It then guides them back down to the mountain's base. For the next request, they go to the Pearl Settlement and find a woman named Dominia. She says, hey, you're members of the Galaxy Team's Survey Corps, right? I've heard you're studying Pokemon and making some kind of book about them. Does that mean you're also studying my dear, beloved Bergmite? Of course. Ash says with confusion. What? I can't allow that. That means you'll know more about Bergmite than I do, right? I'm absolutely convinced that nobody loves or understands Bergmite more than I do, Dominia yells. Then why don't you see from our Pokédex? Serena asks. As Bergmite's #1 fan in all Hisui, I'll make sure you haven't missed any details. But deep down, she is thinking, ooh, what to do? I want to look, but then I don't want to look, and... Fine, I'll have a look. After she reads all of them, she says, huh. I see. No way, really? Wow, I didn't know that. Ash and Serena are now wondering if this girl here is a fraud, but she returns and says, you did a good job. I practically liked how you made a note of Bergmite's height and weight. This entry shows that you took the time to get to know many Bergmite and studied them with a passion. I mean, I know everything you wrote already, of course. For some reason, I think you're lying, Ash whispers. What? It's true. Dominia yells. I'm the one who knows all there is to know about Bergmite, after all. But I did really enjoy reading the entry you made about Bergmite. Its entry in your book might be complete, but I hope you spend more time studying Bergmite. At least she still gives them 3 grit pebbles as rewards, but they just ignore her and do their next missions. They find an alpha Machamp at the arena's approach and start to record it. Machamp's research tasks. Number caught. 1, 2, 4, 6, 10 number of alpha specimens caught. 1, 2, 3 number defeated. 1, 2, 4, 6, 10 number of you've defeated with fairy type moves. 1, 2, 3 times you have seen it use bulk up. 1, 3, 6, 12, 25 times you have seen it use close combat. 1, 3, 8, 20, 40 times you've seen it use a strong style move. 1, 3, 10, 30, 70 times you've stunned it by using items. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hisui Dex entry number 156 Machamp. The superpower Pokemon. Fighting type. Evolve from Machoke with linking cord. In close combat, its 4 arms afforded offensive and defensive supremacy. In but a blink, this valiant Pokemon can overwhelm its foes with more than 1,000 blows from its fists. And there is a hot spring. Serena points in the direction with Ash looking. Ash says, you're right. Dot and look at all the Pokemon who are inside. No wonder this place is a little hot, Arita mutters. Sure. Adaman sighs as they decide to take some rest at the hot spring. They just soak their feet inside without trying to scare the Pokemon or let the Pokemon attack them. After that's done, they decide to head back to the Jubilife village to do some more requests. They find one at the request board and say, it seems that a wild Chimecho has made itself at home under the eaves of one of the village houses. Talk to a villager named Ida to find out more. By the pastures, they find a man named Ida with a Chimecho and he says, you're from the Survey Corps, right? A Chimecho decided to nest in my house. Do you think you could help me get it to move? Ash and Serena notice the Chimecho rings its bells, and Ida continues, it made itself at home under the eaves before I even noticed. It seems mellow enough, but I'm not at ease with having a Pokemon so close. I've already spoken to some homeowners who'd be willing to let Chimecho move in with them. What I'd like you to do is have a look at the homes and make sure they'd be a good fit for Chimecho. It's not like I can tell what Chimecho feels, so. The first place I'd like you to check is that farmer's house near the fields. Think you could find a nice place for Chimecho to hang there? Ash and Serena nod as they check out the house with Chimecho. The first house is at the farmlands, and they have Chimecho hang there to see if it is fine, but after Chimecho stays there for a while, he doesn't like the place because of the wind directions. I guess this is not a good place. Ash frowns as they go back to Ida. Oh. So it prefers the way the wind blows around my house? I like it, too. We get a good breeze, Ida says. Chimecho nods, and Ida asks, well then, how about a hut by the sea? The ocean breeze is so refreshing. The group walks all the way to Prelude Beach and Serena mutters, just why can't we bring the noble Pokemon to help us out? It is tiring. I know. Ash says, but we're here. As they have Chimecho tries it out, it stays for a while and lowers its head again. Adaman says, I guess it is feeling lonely since there are nobody and no Pokemon around here. So this place is a no-go as well. Ash mutters. They get back to Ida again and he says, so it likes lively places. It's always great to have some activity around. How about the training grounds? With the security corps around, that place is always bustling. And as they go to the training grounds, they have Chimecho try out the place. Arita says, it has the nice breeze, and there are a lot of activities here. I think Chimecho will like this place, right? But much to their surprise, a woman from the security corps comes and asks, is that your Chimecho? Why don't you come and train with us? Chimecho shakes his head as he doesn't like to battle, and Ash says, I think this place is not a good idea, either. I mean, it will be persuaded to battle. And they walk back to Ida again and he says, I guess it's only natural that some Pokemon don't like to battle. I'm sorry to scare you, Chimecho. Chimecho nods, and Ida continues. Oh, is it telling me to not worry about it? How about next door to me, then? It's hardly different at all from my place. I just had a chat with my neighbors, and they said they'd be fine with a Chimecho hanging around. Ash and the others think it is a good choice, and Chimecho stays there for a while and he likes it. Ida says, pardon me. I know I just sent you chasing about looking for a good home for Chimecho, but I think I'd like it to stay with me, after all. You've really helped me understand Chimecho a lot better, and I think we can actually live together now. It just dawned on me that hearing its adorable cry from under the eaves is part of my routine now. Chimecho nods as he floats to Ida, who asks, You're going to live with me from now on, aren't you, Chimecho? Chimecho nods as he agrees to stay with the old man, and Ida turns to them. Thank you for all your help. I'm glad this village has the Survey Corps. Then he gives them a sunstone and a rare candy as rewards. Once that's done, they decided to see if there are still more quests that they haven't finished. After getting back into the Galaxy Hall, they decide to gain a rank from Captain Silene, as they are now at the 8th rank and they can also use jet balls, which are a stronger version of wing balls. Once they are done, they find Zeke again and they are giving a face of, here we go again, as they walk towards him. Zeke says, Wanda snuck out of the village without telling me, and she hasn't come back. I heard she was all bundled up against the cold, too, so I've got this sneaking suspicion she went to the Alabaster Islands. Whatever sent her out there, it doesn't seem like it was an assignment from the Security Corps. But what else could make her want to go to such a dangerous place alone? I really need some help again from you and that Ursaluna. What do you know, the 5th place, the 5th time, Ash mutters. And this time I'll go look for her myself, as well. I can't just stand by and rely on you every time. I'm her big brother, I can't let her down now. Wait for me, Wanda, I'll save you this time. Then Zeke rushes out of the Galaxy Hall, and much to their surprise, Wanda just comes down the stairs and she says, Oh, my saviors. I was looking for you, you know. Wait, what? Why are you here? Serena asks. I thought you were at the Alabaster Islands. That's why your brother rushes out to find you there. What? My brother went to the Alabaster Islands. Zeke? That brother? The one who's refused to even set foot outside the village since he got attacked by some shinks and totally traumatized. We've got to go find him at once. Please, Savior, you've got to help me one more time. So now it is the opposite. I guess this sure is different, Adaman says. But anyway, where could he be in the Alabaster Islands? Arita asks. After getting to the place, they manage to track the scent to find him inside a huge hole. Oh. Can you and Sneasler get me back up there? Zeke asks. Before they can answer anything, they were ambushed by an Alpha Glalie. Here it comes again. Ash has Arcanine use Rock Slide on the Glalie to make it trapped, and then quickly defeat it with the Flare Blitz. Zeke says, Oh, goodness me, thank you for saving me from that complete and utter disaster. But it's no good. I still haven't found Wanda. Your sister is safe. Ash mutters, she was in the Galaxy Hall when you tried to come here alone. And thus our mission turns into finding you instead. Did you save my brother, my trusty savior? They hear Wanda's voice from above, and they quickly get out of the hole. Zeke asks, wait. You mean Wanda was fine all along? Oh, good. Now I can pass out in relief. I'm sorry I made you worry. Wanda says. Never mind that. What were you thinking, going to a place like the Icelands without telling me? Zeke asks. The fact is I came here for this. Wanda gives them the ice stone, and says, I came to find that stone so I could give it to you, my savior. I was told it was pretty rare, so I thought maybe it could help you with your survey work. Zeke frowns, and Wanda turns to him. Don't give me that sad look, Zeke, of course I've got one for you, too. After giving him the ice stone, Wanda adds, I really owe you all so much, my saviors. And the one always sending him after me. I'm going to keep working hard to become a great Security Corps member to pay you all back for everything you've done for me. After that, they turn around and Wanda says, Come on, bro. Let's head back home. I've gotten really strong with all my adventures. I'm sure I can get you back to the village safe. Zeke sighs after seeing which direction Wanda goes and says, I'm really glad to hear you think so. Wanda, but... The village is that way. I knew that. Wanda yells in embarrassment. I think Wanda's still going to need you to look out for her for a little while yet. Or more like a long while. A real long while. Then they are given 5-star pieces and a peat block. After seeing them leave, Ash says, when we climb into the hole, I think I have seen an underground maze. Maybe there are still some Pokemon we haven't found inside, Serena says as they decide to check it out. With the Frostlass appearing at night time, they manage to do some research about it. Frostlass research tasks. Number caught. 1, 2, 4, 6, 10 number of alpha specimens caught. 1, 2, 3 number defeated. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times you have seen it use Icicle Crash. 1, 3, 8, 20, 40 times you've given it food. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times you've seen it use an agile style move. 1, 2, 4, 10, 15. Hisui Dex entry number 207 Frostlass. The Snowland Pokemon, Ice and Ghost type. Evolved from female Snorunt with Dawn Stone. A Pokemon inhabited by the soul of a woman who died bearing a grudge in the snowy mountains. Legends of Frostlass placing deathly curses on misbehaving men send shivers down my spine. And as they walk further, they are surprised to see something that they have not seen before. Pure white Zorua and Zoroark. Ash says, are they Zorua and Zoroark? I have never seen those Pokemon like that before. Me neither. Serena gasps. We found another Hisuian form. Zorua's research tasks. Number caught. 1, 3, 6, 12, 25 number caught at night. 1, 2, 5, 10, 20 number defeated. 1, 2, 4, 6, 10 number of you've defeated with dark type moves. 1, 2, 4, 6, 10 times you have seen it use Snarl. 1, 3, 8, 20, 40 times you've given it food. 1, 3, 5, 7, 10 number you've evolved. 1. Hisui Dex entry number 219 Zorua, Hisuian form. The spiteful Pokemon, normal and ghost type. A once departed soul, returned to life in Hisui. Derives power from resentment, which rises as energy atop its head and takes on the forms of foes. In this way, Zorua vents lingering malice. Zoroark's research tasks. Number caught. 1, 2, 4, 6, 10 number defeated. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 number of you've defeated with dark type moves. 1, 2, 4, 6, 10 times you have seen it use bitter malice. 1, 3, 8, 20, 40 times you have seen it use nasty plot. 1, 3, 6, 12, 25 times you've stunned it by using items. 1, 3, 5, 7, 10 times you've seen it use an agile style move. 1, 3, 10, 30, 70. Hisui Dex entry number 220 Zoroark, Hisuian form. The baneful Pokemon, normal and ghost type. Evolved from Zorua at LV. 30. With its disheveled white fur, it looks like an embodiment of death. Heedless of its own safety, Zoroark attacks its nemesis with a bitter energy so intense, it lacerates Zoroark's own body. Normal and ghost type at the same time, there is almost to no weakness for this Pokemon, Ash gasps. I know, only dark type though. Serena adds. They decide to finish the Pokédex to the number 224, thus they begin by researching Garchomp, which they can find the alpha at Avalanche Slopes. Garchomp's research tasks. Number caught. 1, 2, 4, 6, 10 number of alpha specimens caught. 1, 2, 3 number defeated. 1, 2, 4, 6, 10 number of you've defeated with fairy type moves. 1, 2, 3 times you have seen it use Dragon Claw. 1, 3, 8, 20, 40 times you have seen it use Outrage. 1, 3, 8, 20, 40 times you've stunned it by using items. 1, 3, 5, 7, 10 times you've seen it use a strong style move. 1, 5, 20, 50,100 number of different forms you've obtained. 2. Hisui Dex entry number 189 Garchomp. The Mach Pokemon. Dragon and Ground type. Evolved from Gabite at LV. 48. Soars across the heavens at blinding speed. A magnificent sight. It has a feral disposition. Utmost caution is required if one meets a Garchomp out in the wilds. The next is the Avalug's legacy, where they find Mamoswine and Avalug. That's when they finally finish the Pokemon in the Alabaster Islands. Mamoswine's research tasks. Number caught. 1, 2, 4, 6, 10 number of alpha specimens caught. 1, 2, 3 number defeated. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, number of you've defeated with fire-type moves. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times you have seen it use high horsepower. 1, 3, 6, 12, 25 times you have seen it use blizzard. 1, 3, 8, 20, 40 times you've seen it use a strong style move. 1, 3, 10, 30, 70 times you've stunned it by using items. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 number of different forms you've obtained. 2. Hisui Dex entry number 214 Mamoswine. The twin tusk Pokemon. Ice and Ground type. Evolved from Piloswine by learning ancient power. This species reached its zenith during the period known as the Ice Age. I suspect that Hisui's frigid climate is in harmony with Mamoswine's constitution, thus awakening hidden potential. Avalug's research tasks. Number caught. 1, 2, 4, 10, 15 number of heavy specimens caught. 1, 2, 3, 5, 7 number defeated. 1, 2, 4, 10, 15 number of you've defeated with fighting type moves. 1, 2, 6, 12, 25 times you have seen it use Mountain Gale. 1, 3, 8, 20, 40 times you have seen it use Blizzard. 1, 3, 6, 12, 25 times you've seen it use a strong style move. 1, 3, 8, 20, 40. Hisui Dex entry number 216 Avalug. Hisuian form. The Iceberg Pokemon. Ice and Rock type. Evolved from Bergmite at LV. 37. The armor of ice covering its lower jaw puts steel to shame and can shatter rocks with ease. This Pokemon barrels along steep mountain paths, cleaving through the deep snow. All that's left for them are the old verses, Unknown, and the Wisps. They decide to do the old verses first, as they find verse 6 in Hibernal Cave. When that Pokemon was born, intelligence bloomed among us, enriching all our morrows. When that Pokemon was born, emotions bloomed among us, giving us joy and sorrows. When that Pokemon was born, willpower bloomed among us to act and not to wallow. Well, all three of them are Mesprit, Azulf, and Uxie. Ash mutters. The second one is verse 7 at Lake Acuity. Oh, lake in alabaster lands of ice, lake brimming o'er with rich acuity. How many seek the Pokemon that shows itself there, out to answer its words true and earn its boon through ingenuity? But should they fail to understand its words and let its questions meet with no reply, their minds will be wiped clean of memory. Oh, lake in alabaster lands of ice, depths where rich acuity goes to sink. Well, this is about Uxie, I guess, Serena thinks. The third one is verse 12 in the Icepeak Cavern. Wintry. Austere. Brimming with strange power. Certainly the land of Hisui bears some resemblance to Sinnoh. Here, where the ancient Sinnoh people were born, I will spend an eternity, until the one with the mission appears. And this is about the ancient hero, I guess, Ash thinks. The final one is verse 20 in the Bonechill Wastes. Once it shone upon us all, with all the warmth of welcome sun, but now we weep, to grief we fall, starved of light now it has gone. And some they go, despair withal, in search of it they reel and run. They quit their hearts, abandon hall, and leave our lands to be undone. And when they're gone beyond recall, this land will be a home to none. This land will only ever be a home to Pokemon. That's all the verses we found. Ash says as they put it into the bag. Now let's find the rest of the unknown. But you have to admit all those verses are interesting, Adaman says as Arita nods. For the unknown, they first find, O, which says, 3 pillars in a world of ice. They find it in the ice cavern and it is hanging on the ceiling. The second one is, T, which says, gaze down from atop the greatest glacial legacy. They have to use Braviary's help again to get to the top of the legacy and find it on top of the ice. U is the third one, and it says, the unusual stone staring out across the snowfields. They find the odd rock in Heart's Crag and U is resting on it. The fourth one is Y, which says, scale the frozen falls. They find the Pokemon on top of the icebound falls. And the final one is, which says, a dead tree by the hot spring. They find the last one on top of the tree near the hot spring. We also finish everything with unknown. Ash says, and for now, the wisps. The final 20. Serena adds. The first wisp is located on a steep ledge on the side of the mountain southeast of Whiteout Valley. The second wisp is located on a snowy shelf protruding out of the mountain just north of Whiteout Valley. The third wisp is located alongside the mountain ridge southwest from the Bonechill Wastes. The fourth wisp is located high up on the mountainside just north of the arena's approach. The fifth wisp is located on a small cone-shaped mountain east of Avalanche Slopes. The sixth wisp is located at the bottom of a mountain ridge at the southern end of Avalanche Slopes. The seventh wisp is located on a flat surface near the peak of the mountains southeast of Arena's approach. The eighth wisp is nestled at the base of a semicircle-shaped mountain ridge located northeast of Arena's approach. The ninth wisp is located on top of one of the icy structures surrounding the large ice formation south of the Pearl Settlement. The 10th wisp is located on the surface of an icy hillside near the center, southeast of Avalug's Legacy. The 11th wisp is located in an icy cavern below the surface southeast of Avalug's Legacy. The 12th wisp is located at the tip of a steep structure jutting out of the ground south of Heart's Crag. The 13th wisp is on a platform on the northern face of the mountain located southeast of Heart's Crag. The 14th wisp is located behind one of the tents at the Pearl Settlement in the northeastern corner of the map, below the hot springs. The 15th wisp is located atop a snowy plateau near the left side of Snowpoint Temple at the north end. The 16th wisp is located in a small nook to the left after passing through the first puzzle door in Snowpoint Temple. The 17th wisp is located along the foothills to the west of Avalug's Legacy. The 18th wisp is located in between two trees on the side of the mountain east of Glacier Terrace. The 19th wisp is located at the back of a cave at the south end of Lake Acuity. You'll need a Pokemon that can break the rocks sealing the doorway to enter. And the final wisp is located atop the rocky structure to the right of the large waterfall flowing out of Lake Acuity. Once they are done, they head back to Vesa, and she says, "Thanks for helping me, you've collected 107 wisps so far." She gives them an oval stone for 5 wisps, rare candy for 10, seed of mastery for 20, dusk stone for 30, express candy L for 40, linking cord for 50, 5 grit pebbles for 60, reaper cloth for 70, 3 seeds of mastery for 80, 2 express candies XL for 90, and 3 grit rocks for 100. Wow! You've gathered every last one of the wisps. I really can't thank you enough. Vesa says as she sighs, now we can finally seal away that havoc-wreaking bundle of mischief once more. Ash and Serena are still wondering where the 108th wisp is, and Vesa just lowers her head, but we'll need to go to the Shrouded Ruins. That's the only place the sealing will work, and today is the day. They head to the Shrouded Ruins in the Crimson Mirelands, and they already have a bad feeling about this. Vesa says, let's get started, shall we? First of all, a confession. I may have told you one teeny tiny lie. About the wisps. There are actually 108 of them. We know, Ash says, but where is the last one? I've been holding on to the last one. Could you put it in the odd keystone with the others? Vesa asks. As Serena takes out the odd keystone, Vesa asks, but wait, before that, well, Ash and Serena, what do you think of me? You seem very strange to us. Serena says. I see. Here it goes, the final wisp. Vesa says. After this, the traveler with the Pikachu who used that strange magic will finally forgive me. Right? Oh. Close your eyes for a sec, would you? The 4 of them nod as they do what she says, but then they regret the decision after opening their eyes. Vesa is nowhere, and the only one standing in front of them is the final wisp. She was the final wisp. All along. Serena gasps as tears start to form in their eyes. No way. Ash frowns. And then the final wisp goes into the odd keystone, with some fainted words coming from it. Making you gather all those wisps was my last bit of mischief. Thanks for playing along. Please, don't forget about me. All that's on the ground is 3 twice spiced radishes, and then the odd keystone becomes a spiritomb. Ash says, Vesa. No, spiritomb. The Pokémon nods as Ash throw the Pokeball and capture it, marking their final capture for the Pokédex. Spiritomb's research tasks. Number caught. 1. Times you have seen it use Hex. 1, 3, 8, 20, 40 times you have seen it use Dark Pulse. 1, 3, 8, 20, 40 times you've seen it use a strong style move. 1, 3, 10, 30, 70. Hisui Dex entry number 139 Spiritomb. The Forbidden Pokémon. Ghost and Dark type. It lays curses by thinking wicked thoughts. Writings tell that this Pokémon was born out of the assembly of 58 malevolent spirits. Now we should go back to our quarters to take a nice rest, Ash says as they don't say anything afterward to think what just happened. And at the same time, Delia is still watching over Ash and Serena's Pokémon that were sent to the past, until a portal arrives. Delia turns around and asks, "What are you doing here?" "We need to chat a little, Delia." From the portal, the gray-haired woman walks towards her and says. The next day, Ash and Serena are woken up by some commotion outside of their quarters. Serena mutters, "Who in the right mind would be so noisy?" "I don't know." Ash mutters, and Pikachu just wants to zap whoever's outside making that noise. But after dressing up and looking outside, they're shocked to see the sky has changed colors, and everyone is looking up in the sky. Ash, Serena. Akari yells to them as they rush to the Galaxy Hall. And on the balcony of the hall, Commander Kamado has made up a decision after seeing the huge space-time rift. Inside the lab, Ash and Serena want to know what is going on, and Laventon says, some sort of dreadful energy seems to be pouring from the rift in space-time. Now the entire sky has gone red. Silene walks into the lab and says, "I've word from the commander. You're to report to his office at once." Ash and Serena frown and nod, then they go to the office to see that both Adaman and Arita are also present. Kamado starts, The way the sky has changed. It is ominous, very ominous indeed." "What's this about, Commander?" Adaman asks. "You did call us here to discuss the quelling of all the nobles, didn't you?" Arita asks. "That can wait. There is a more pressing concern here that must be addressed. The first strike of that strange lightning, the one that drove Clever into a frenzy. It struck the night that Ash and Serena fell from the sky, did it not? It only seems natural to think that the two events might be linked in some way." Ash and Serena don't like where this is going, and Kamado yells at them. "Who or what are you really, Ash and Serena?" Ash says, "Well, we came from a faraway place and we have become the Survey Corps members." "Indeed, you've done all I ordered," Kamado says. "But that does not answer the question of who you really are. You came from the rift, as did the lightning. You're connected to these frenzies, are you not?" "We're not," Serena weakly replies, but Kamado continues, "Did you think to gain our trust by quelling the frenzies you yourself brought about? And having gained our trust, what then? What is it you're really after here?" "We just want to help, so we can go back home," Ash mutters. "Hold on, Commander," Adaman says, trying to help his sworn brother. The same goes with Arita, who wants to help her sworn sister. There's nothing to suggest Ash and Serena have wronged us. "Exactly. And besides, do you really think they've got the sort of fearsome power it'd take to make all this happen?" Adaman asks. "Let me ask you in turn. Can you prove beyond a doubt that he is free from guilt?" Kamado asks. "These people. These strangers appeared out of a rift in space-time. Who here can guarantee they are who they say? Who here can guarantee they're to be trusted?" "But that's... No one can do that. You're asking us to prove a negative," Arita complains. "How is anyone supposed to prove the absence of all doubt? Come on. Let's be reasonable. What are Ash and Serena supposed to do, then?" Adaman asks. Kamado thinks for a while and he says, they will be given the chance to investigate this latest disaster. But not as members of the Galaxy team. They remain suspect unless they can clear their names. "There are those in our village who cannot trust strangers like you who fell from the sky, and so I must ask you to leave. You are no longer welcome in the Galaxy team." Consider yourself banished from this village until you can explain why these calamities keep befalling our good people. No. Until you've restored our world to its rightful state and proven your innocence beyond doubt. Is that clear, Silene? Ash and Serena gasp as they are banished from the village, but then again, they are in the past, so this might be happening to them sooner or later. Silene says, "Yes, sir." "How can you act so heartless? Don't you believe in Ash and Serena?" Rita yells. "Do not attempt to intervene on their behalves. I will do what I must as the commander of the Galaxy Expedition Team. But I have not forgotten your deeds, nor the unusual skill you have displayed. That is why I have chosen to let you walk out of here free rather than clap you in chains," Kamado adds. Ash and Serena are a little relieved to know that they didn't get chained up, or even worse, be dissipated. But still, they know for sure that their quarters are where they can secretly meet Lily and the others. If they can't return to the village, how are they supposed to get in contact with them? Back outside, Laventon and Akari are shocked to learn that Ash and Serena are being banished. "You're to be expelled? From the village?" Laventon asks. "What? Why?" Akari asks. Silene says, "Orders are orders, let's go." While walking on the road, Ash and Serena notice a lot of people looking away from them with sad faces, including Arezu, Choi, Anthe, Daguerro, and so on. "So this is the walk of shame, huh?" Ash mutters. "I really don't like this feeling." Serena also mutters, with sadness in her eyes. The guard Rest says, "We can take it from here, ma'am." Silene says, "Understood. However, the decision was mine to accept these strangers as members of the Survey Corps. It is only right that I should personally escort them from the village and to the Fieldlands camp." Akari says, "I'll also see them off." Laventon says, "As will I, naturally." Ash and Serena frown to see that their sworn big brother and big sister aren't with them, but then again, Kamado kept them inside his office for what business they have to attend. Silene says, "I allow it." Rest nods, then, "I'll mark you all down as bound for the Fieldlands camp. Safe travels." After arriving at the Fieldlands camp, Akari is still angry as she mutters, "I can't believe the boss would do this. You were acting on his own orders when you quelled the frenzied nobles." "Quite right. Moreover, even if you did happen to fall from the sky, that hardly gives you the power to turn it red," Laventon says. "This is utterly intolerable, and, I might add, absurdly unscientific. As a man of science, I must fight such illogical thinking tooth and nail." "You must not," Silene says. "You will only cause Ash and Serena more pain if you are driven out as well for defending them." Ash and Serena frown, and Silene says, "However, there are others who might offer help. You've been an aid to both the Diamond Clan and the Pearl Clan." "Of course. Perhaps Adaman or Idia might take you in?" Laventon asks. "Though I'm afraid they've both already returned to their respective settlements." "Perhaps you could try to go find Lien first? He's likely to be at Grand Tree Arena," Akari says. Ash and Serena nod, and Silene says, "Don't die alone out there. That's an order. I will ensure you have all you need to complete the survey the commander has tasked you with. If I might offer my advice, in this life, you will meet with both admiration and abuse from others. How others choose to view you is a choice only they can make. You cannot make it for them. All that truly matters is that you hold firm to your own values." Laventon says, "What of the dream I first shared with you on Prelude Beach? To complete the Pokédex? That dream simply won't come true without you," Laventon says. Ash and Serena then leave to find Lien. On the way, they manage to contact Lily. "What do you mean you've got banished?" Lily gasps. "Just because you came here through Arceus' orders and then you got banished?" "I don't think this is Arceus' fault, though." Ash says, "Maybe this is why Arceus wants to send us back to the past. Because we have to find a way to return the sky back normal?" "So what are you guys going to do now?" Lily asks. "We're going to see if the Diamond Clan and the Pearl Clan can help us. Even though I don't think that would happen," Serena says. "Why? The leaders of both clans travel with you, and they already treat you as siblings," Lily asks in confusion. "That's the problem. If they try to help us, their clans might be in danger because of us," Ash says. "But that doesn't mean we can't try. By the way, where is Mom?" "Ms. Ketchum said that she has to leave somewhere. She only left a message, though," Lily sighs. I see. So we couldn't contact her right now. Ash frowns as he ends the call. Just why are our lives full of miseries? Serena frowns. First, we were killed by people we thought to be friends, and now we were being exiled from the village that we lived in for months for nothing we've done. Come on, Serena. Don't give up until it is over. Ash says. I'm feeling the same thing as you. I hated everything as well, but we don't have a choice. We have to prove that we are innocent and we are not the ones that caused this. Serena nods at Ash's words, says, at least we still have this. Serena takes out the Pokédex, and Ash says, yeah, we've managed to finish the first 224 Pokémon inside this book. If I remember correctly, all that's left are the legendary and mythical Pokémon. We don't need to worry about them attacking us if we are more careful, Serena says. And it is a good thing I still have the Celestica flute. We can still call the noble Pokémon to give us a ride to the Grand Tree Arena. Yeah. Ash nods as they decide to call Wardeer to take them to the arena to see if Lien is there. At the same time, Delia is now looking at the red sky as she remembers what just happened. The woman in front of her claimed to be her ancestor and brought her to the past where Ash and Serena are located. She is happy that she can be on the same timeline as Ash and Serena, but she didn't know why she would be here if Ash and Serena are the ones to write the history of the Sinnoh region. How do you like the tea, Delia? The woman asks. It is nice. Delia replies. But are you sure Ash and Serena will come here eventually? I'm sure they will come here. The woman frowns. Just look at the sky. According to our almighty Sinnoh, the time where they get into their darkest time has finally happened. And are you sure that I'm not interfering some time and space stuff just by coming here? Delia asks. Don't worry about it. You're not interfering. It is very complicated to explain why, though. The woman sips on the tea again. Delia frowns a little and she is still worried about Ash and Serena. Ash and Serena arrive at the Grand Tree Arena, and they find Lien there who doesn't seem to be happy with them. He asks, what in the world did you do? Look at that size of that rift. If lightning starts pouring from it, all the Pokémon in Hisui could be thrown into a frenzy. The entire clan is in a panic now. He lowers his head and says, I should have known that the only thing that could come from that rift was a disaster. We really need some help so that we can investigate this, Ash says. Look. You needn't try to put on a brave face. You've been a help to the Pearl Clan, and we know what kind of person you are. Though, it must be said, for every sympathetic ear you might find there, you may also find a detractor who fears your presence. I truly do wish that I could repay you for quelling Clever's frenzy as you did. You must know that. But there's nothing I alone can do for you. I see. Serena frowns. Warden Mai might be able to help you, though. She's a caring woman, after all. Lien says. You'll most likely find Mai at the Worn Bridge. I believe it's a very significant place for her. I'm certain that somewhere in the vastness of Hisui, there is a place for you as well. Ash and Serena frown as they leave. Serena says, so that means Pearl Clan is a no-go. Yeah, the Diamond Clan is our last chance. Ash mutters as they go to the Worn Bridge with the help of Braviary. After getting there, they find Mai and her Munchlax, and she says, Mai. What a frightful sky. Such a disturbing sight would be enough to put anyone ill at ease. You don't know what brought this about, do you? We don't know anything, that's why we are going to find it out, Ash says. I suppose it was too much to expect that you could already have an answer to all this. Mai sighs. I heard from our leader what happened. You can't return to that village of yours, can you? But I'm afraid the Diamond Clan cannot be the ones to save you. I know. The Diamond Clan could end up at war with the Galaxy team if things went badly, Ash says. It will be much pain for Big Brother Adaman as well. The Great Wardeer took a liking to you. I want to offer you my support, but forgive me. I cannot help you with this. Do not abandon hope. Time solves all things. And besides, you seem to have a talent for making your own way in the world. I have no doubt you'll continue to find a path to walk. After that, Ash and Serena also leave, and the two of them know that even the Diamond Clan can't help them, and they just sit on the grass looking at the obsidian falls. A Shinx walks over to them and purrs at Serena. Serena gives a sad smile as she pats the Pokémon. At least we still have our Pokémon to help us, Ash says. Yeah. Serena says. Strange events seem to follow you wherever you go, don't they? They turn around to see Volo walking towards them. Oh, hey Volo. Ash mutters. Found you, at last, Ash and Serena. Volo smiles. I've been looking all over for you, you know. What would I do if I were to lose two of my favorite customers? Don't worry. I've already heard what happened. A good merchant knows well the importance of staying abreast of all the latest news. It seems you're in quite the pinch. No place for you among the Diamond Clan or the Pearl Clan. To say nothing of how poorly the Galaxy team has treated you. But not to worry. There are still corners of the Hisui region where we can stash you away in secret. Really? Ash and Serena ask in confusion. I know a spot that will be the perfect hideaway. Leave it all up to me. Volo says as he brings the two to a place with a small hut. Here we are. Volo says, I know, it's no palace. But you know the saying about beggars and choosers. As Ash and Serena follow Volo, they find a woman drinking some tea at the desk. She says, shirking your work to come to pester me again. Even beneath a bleeding sky, you never change. Always a pleasure, Mistress Kajita. Volo says, but I'm afraid I'm not here today to learn more of Hisui's myths and legends. No, Mistress, thank you. Just Kajita, and this is? Kajita asks. Why, Ash and Serena are the people of the hour. Volo says. They're the ones who quelled the frenzy of all the Pokemon nobles, believe it or not. Ah, so you are Ash and Serena who lost in time and space. Kajita smiles. Dear me, lost ones. It seems I'll be able to fulfill my duty at long last, thanks to you. Okay. Ash says, the woman in front of them also looks like Cynthia as well, maybe she is his real ancestor? You must be wondering what I'm talking about, right? I am to guide you, lost one. For the task of preventing great disaster falls to you. The rift in space-time must be mended, lest time and space themselves be thrown out of balance. But come. You may enter my dear hideaway. There's much to be told. J. Just as the two of them enter the hut, they are shocked to see someone that they haven't expected. Ash, Serena. The woman hugs both of them and Ash asks, Mom, what are you doing here in this timeline? Kajita says, I brought her here with Arceus' request. After all, both of you are my precious descendants. Wait, so you are my ancestor? Ash asks in surprise. Delia says, I was shocked the first time I know about this truth. Let's not waste more time with the reunions. Volo coughs. We're here with some questions. Kajita says, the space-time rift is said to be a portal to innumerable other dimensions. In one such realm, far and farther still from ours, dwells almighty Sinnoh. The Diamond Clans, or the Pearl Clans? Ash asks. The expanse from antiquity to eternity and the expanse to all sides, above and below. Time traces the path we tread from the here and now into the future. While space yawns all-encompassingly, surrounding us in every direction. You see, don't you? The two together, time and space, comprise all creation. The universe. How can one claim that either is greater than the other, as those two clans do? If you think about it, they are inseparable. You can't tell who is better, Serena says. Perhaps the truth is clearer to a wanderer such as you. One who has known other ages. Now listen, lost one. Here is what you must do. Hisui holds 3 lakes of great importance, Kajita says. You mean Lake Verity, Lake Valor, and Lake Acuity? Ash cuts off. And each dwells a Pokemon said to embody one aspect of the mind, right? So you know about this, Ash? Delia asks. I know, I met all 3 of them before, Ash says. Complete the trials each will set you, and bear their gifts to the shrouded ruins, Kajita says. There you may receive the red chain. With it, perhaps you can bind the world together. Ash is now surprised to know that he is going to make the red chain, the same item that Team Galactic tried to control Dialga and Palkia. Volo asks, bind the world, you say? You mean it won't close the rift? Kindly spare me your doubts, young man. Kajita says. I know the old words and what they bid us do. How true there isn't mine to know, and regardless of their truth, I am bound to pass them on. How callous of my ancestors, to leave their legends to their children without a thought for the hardship it would cause them, but here we are. You know your duty, and you'll do it, won't you? Of course, we are going to do this. Ash says. There is nobility in knowing what must be done and seeing to it, Kajita says. Mistress Cogite's got a lovely workbench here, and if you need materials, I'd be glad to help. I'm always happy to do business with you, Cogita says. But what about the pastures? I mean, we only have 6 each, and what about the others? Ah, that is a problem, isn't it? What shall we do about that, indeed? Volo asks. Just then, a cry of a Pokemon rings at their ears, and Cogita asks, what was that cry? Have we now a lost Pokemon as well as a lost child? Do see to it, please. How could I refuse you, ma'am? Volo says as they all head outside, only to see an Abra. The Abra belongs to Captain Silene of the Survey Corps, and Ash and Serena are confused as to why it is here. It's got a letter. A letter addressed to you, Ash and Serena. Volo says as he hands over the letter. To Ash and Serena. You may use my Pokemon as a go-between to access the pastures in Jubilife Village. I've also ensured that you'll be able to utilize our base camps without issue. I have every confidence in your ability as Adept Survey Corps members to bring this bizarre situation under control promptly. Sincerely, Silene. Wow, I can't believe she would help us with it, Serena gasps. Good tidings from the letter, then? Volo asks. Yeah, Ash says. Then Cogita says, by the way, Ash and Serena. With Arceus and your mother's help, we managed to make a room for you two to stay. That's so nice for you, Serena says. And while we are at it, Delia says, Lusamine and I have discussed a little, and we have decided that it is time the world knows the fact that you two are alive. Wait, what? Ash and Serena ask in shock. What do you mean by that? Delia says, it has been almost a year since you have been declared dead, and still, the police can't find those murderers as they are good at hiding. Just great. They are still on the loose, huh, Serena mutters. That's why we need to have you two announce the important news to the whole world so that we can get them out of their hiding. Once they know that you're alive, they might be trying to kill you again. And then the police will manage to arrest them. That sounds like a nice idea, but will it work? Serena asks. We don't know if we don't try it out, and as the Kanto champion, I have talked to all the other champions about this, but don't worry, they still don't know you're alive, Delia says. I see. Then we should do it in the room that you provided us? Ash asks, and then they quickly go there. With the help of Arcphone, Ash and Serena send a video to the Ether Foundation. Lily takes the video and smiles. Well, looks like Ash and Serena managed to send us a video of proof that they're still alive. Lusamine says, good, and according to Professor Oak and the others, they have already set up a trap at the Ketchum's house. We have done all the preparations, now we just need to play it. Good thing we have Alexa helping us out, considering that she is the best reporter there is, Gladian says. And after some time, the programs inside the television all stopped and changed into an announcement from Alexa. Breaking news. Sorry for the interruption. But we have received the news regarding the world champion Ash Ketchum who was seemingly killed a year ago. The news causes uproar to a lot of the regions. Ash Ketchum is a famous person in the whole world because he is the first one to defeat champion Leon, the first one to obtain the weird Greninja, Dusk form Lycanroc, and Melmetal, and not only that, the hero who managed to stop all the evil teams. Everyone, look at the news. In a secluded building, the real murderers are also watching the news as they are shocked to see what's going on. Alexa continues, it turns out, our world champion along with his girlfriend are both safe, and they have sent us a video. Then the screen turns into Ash and Serena, who are sitting in front of a table. A lot of people are wondering if the video is fake, but as Pikachu is also there, they know that this video is the real deal. And the traders know for sure that the setting is in the Ketchum residence in the Kanto region. Ash says, hello everyone. I am Ash Ketchum and this is my girlfriend Serena, not to mention my buddy Pikachu. He takes a breath and sighs. Some of you might think this is some sort of prank video, but I want to confirm that this is the real deal. Yes, both of us are alive. How? We saw the news that they were dead. Misty yells with horror, and so are the murderers. Serena says, it is true that those murderers managed to deal a lot of damage to us, you can see from the scars on our skins. What Ash and Serena are not exactly true, as some cuts are from the battles against the noble Pokemon in Frenzy. Serena continues, but we were saved thanks to our family and the Ether Foundation. They managed to find some legendary and mythical Pokemon to heal our wounds. A lot of people have rejoiced since they know for sure that Ash Ketchum is some sort of legendary magnet, and the fact that the legendary Pokémon saving them is expected. Clement says, how could we forget this fact? Indeed. I can't believe those legendary and mythical Pokémon would help them like that, Max says with frustration. Ash says, we are very sorry that we faked the news of our death, but I'm also glad that all of you are trying to avenge me by finding those murderers on the run. Since it has been a while I come back to my home in Kanto, I will be trying to take some rest before I go back to league business. Same for me, I'll stay at Ash's house for rest before I go back to the showcase business as well. Serena says with a smile. We are not sure when we will be ready, but we'll be looking forward to it. Ash looks in one direction and says, okay, Mom. You can end the video. And then the camera moved a little before turning black. Alexa says, and here it is. This is the video we gained from Ash and Serena themselves. Thank you for listening. After the news ended, the traders have made up their mind. If they fail to kill Ash Ketchum this time, then they are going to kill Ash again. They have already changed their names and identities so that they wouldn't be able to be found by the officials, but what they don't know is that Ash and Serena aren't actually at their homes, but rather in the ancient Sinnoh known as Hisui. Now that's done, so we're to visit 3 lakes? Volo asks. It doesn't sound like an easy task. That's for sure. It sure would be wonderful to have a kind soul who might help us out. Ash says, but who will be helping us? Quite the opportunist, aren't you, Volo? Such a consummate guild merchant. Ash and Serena gasp as they know it is the voice from Arita, and they turn around to see both Adaman and Arita approaching them. Big bro Adaman. Big sis Arita, Ash and Serena gasp. I've managed to reassure my people for now, Adaman says. The wardens are keeping a close eye on their nobles, too. Seems all are quiet for the moment. And so, here we are. Ash and Serena are delighted, and Adaman adds, but still, we'll never get away with openly aiding you. If we were to undermine the commander's direct orders, relations would grow strained, Arita says. Long story short. We want to help but without drawing attention, so it'll be just one of us. Adaman says. Me or her, it's up to you two. Though the answer should be obvious. Ash and Serena gulp as they can only choose one person to help them out. Ash and Serena really liked how the 4 of them traveled together, even though Adaman and Arita might argue a lot. Arita was the one who got us what we needed when we first set out to quell Clever. We made the bombs together, Serena says. And Adaman was the one who gave you the Celestica flute in the first place, Ash says. It is hard to pick. Serena says, we're going to the lakes as soon as possible, and we don't have time to argue who to pick. You're right. Since we have traveled with Adaman more with Arita, maybe we should make it equal by picking her. Ash asks Serena, and she nods. Ash says, we've decided. Sorry big bro Adaman, but we are going to choose Arita for this one. Just what I would expect of you two, Ash and Serena. Arita smiles, you made the right choice. You won't regret it. Volo says, so, then, the leftover leader will. Leftover? Think again. Adaman says. Ash and Serena trust me enough to leave the tough job up to me alone. I'll be keeping an eye on the commander, so I can let you all know if anything happens. Of course, of course. Volo nods. And the lucky chosen one comes with us to the lakes. We can fill you in on the details as we go. Well, the first task will be to decide which of the Hisui region's 3 great lakes to visit first. Arita says. But yes, we should get moving. I'd rather we walk this road together, but if the commander were to get wind of it, it would only make things worse. Adaman says, all right, Arita, you, Ash, and Serena. Well, you 3 do what needs doing. Arita nods at Adaman, and before leaving, Ash and Serena are stopped by Delia. Ash asks, Mom? Delia takes 2 boxes and says, I made you 2 some food in the kitchen, since you have been out in the wild for so long, who knows how many meals have you 2 eaten. Serena and Ash get the boxes and thank Delia, and she says, just be safe you two. We will. After that, Delia walks back into the hut, and Arita asks, so your mother, Ash? Did she also fall from the space-time rift as well? Don't worry, she came with the help of my ancestor. Ash says. She wants to give us some hope after hearing what we've endured. I see. You have a nice mother. Adaman nods. After that, all of them leave the ancient retreat as they are going to their respective locations. Back at the Ketchum's residence, Brock and the others are trying to block the press from entering the house. Brock says, "We already told you guys that Ash and Serena are resting, you shouldn't try to disturb them." But the other reporters just want to ask questions from Ash and Serena about everything, and not even the world-known Professor Oak's words can stop them from their curiosity. Professor Oak says, "Just great. How are we going to let them go away?" Just then, the door opens and Mimey comes out from it. He uses teleport to make them disappear. Don says, "I guess that is one way of doing it." "Yeah, I never thought a Mr. Mime can use teleport," Bonnie says. Mr. Mime gives a weird smile, causing them not to ask for more. At the same time, the traders are hiding behind the bushes and they are cursing for the fact that Professor Oak and the others are there. "Those people are here as well," Kiave mutters. "Yeah, even Bonnie is here. They might be here to protect Ash and Serena," Clemont mutters. "What are we going to do then? How are we going to get inside without them noticing?" Max asks. "Simple. We have a group of 8, some of us can be distractions while the others get the fatal kill." Trip smirks. "It is simple." "I hope you're right. It is because of you that we have become criminals," Iris mutters. "Then who is going to be the distraction?" Misty asks, and everyone looks at Trip, who pales a little. "Basically it is your fault that the whole thing got ruined. So you should be the one." "No, I'm going to be the one to kill him." Trip retorts, "You have to know it is because of me that you can get new identities to do whatever you're doing. Typically it was thanks to Clemont hacking the net to change our identities," Mallow says. "You were the one who just used your mouth." Max yells, "Stop fighting you guys, they're looking in our direction." At the same time, Dawn notices the shaking and she whispers to Professor Oak, "I think those people are hiding there. What should we do then?" "Don't engage them right now," Professor Oak says. "They might have weapons in their hands, after all, they failed to kill Ash and Serena. They will be doing it again, and if you try to go them, who knows what they will do." Professor Cerise says, "Professor Oak is right. We have to wait until they strike, and we can't fail the whole thing." At the same time, Max says, "Why should we be the ones to cause the distraction? Didn't we just see a lot of reporters trying to get in? We can just teleport them back so that they can be the distractions." "Good idea." Iris says, "Now let's get to work." As Professor Oak and the others see that the reporters are back, they are now groaning as they are really persistent, and they have to chase them away again. Chloe asks, "Dad, what are we going to do?" "We can't let them get into the house no matter what," Cerise yells. And at the same time, Max uses the Gallade to teleport them inside the house, as they are approaching Ash's room. Ash, Serena, Volo, and Arita are now at the Obsidian Fieldlands, as they walk towards Lake Verity to find the legendary Pokemon. Mesprit. Ash says, "Still, I can't believe we are going to make a red chain." "Sounds like you are not fond of doing this," Serena asks with concern. "That was what Team Galactic tried to do. Use the chains to bind Dialga and Palkia, so that he can destroy the whole universe to create a new one," Ash says. "Okay, now that is terrifying," Serena says. After arriving at Lake Verity, Volo says, "They say this lake actually used to be a volcano. Then it erupted, leaving a huge crater that filled with water, and so Lake Verity was born." "I know, it is protected by a Pokemon called Mesprit," Ash says. "It was when Mesprit took flight that people first learned the joys and sorrows of living. Or that's how the old tales go, anyway." Just then, the Arc phone beeps, and then it starts to glow, making an entrance in the middle of the lake. Volo is surprised and he says, That cave. It just appeared from nowhere. Is that the Arc phone the professor was going on about? What surprises wait within, I wonder," Arita says. "Mistress Kajita seemed quite intent that you would have to prove yourself to all 3 of the Pokemon that guard these lakes. This challenge was never the faint of the heart," Volo says. Volo decides to stand on guard outside of the cave while Ash, Serena, and Arita enter the cave. Arita mutters, "The air feels somehow tense in here." "I agree. It is like something is waiting for us," Serena says, and then a Dragon Pulse fires at them and they have to quickly dodge the attack. What the? They find that in the middle of the lake, an Alpha Hisuian Gudra stands in front of them, and it seems menacing. Ash says, Let me guess, we were treated as an intruder and this Gudra tries to chase us out? You and your Pokemon quelled Hisui's nobles. You can handle any battle, Ash and Serena, Arita says. Ash has Lucario out to battle the Gudra, and even though Gudra uses Shelter to raise its defense and evasiveness, Lucario manages to use close combat on the Pokemon to knock it out. Ash also realizes that they can just capture the Pokemon, so they throw the Pokeball to capture the Alpha Pokemon. After that's done, Arita says, it's curious, but when I watch you in your Pokemon battle, I feel as if there's no obstacle that can't be overcome if people and Pokemon work together. Now, let's see about the Pokemon of the lake. And much to their surprise, Mesprit pops in front of them. Serena says, so that's Mesprit. Yeah. Ash says. Good to see you again. Ash, I'm glad to hear you forgive Dawn for what she did. Mesprit says, causing them to widen their eyes. Ash asks, wait, you can use telepathy? I'm a psychic type after all. Mesprit says, your emotions, share them with me. What do you mean by that? Serena asks in confusion. Arita, being the only one who can't hear them, mutters, I can only imagine how it must feel to speak directly with a Pokemon like that. When you fell to this land, what stirred in your heart? Mesprit asks. Ash and Serena realize that Mesprit wants to know about their emotions, and Ash decides to say, I was surprised since I never knew we would get another chance to live after that happened. As for me, I was a little panicked. Since this region is very alien to me, Serena adds. Then how did it feel to bond with Pokemon and work together? Mesprit asks. Ash rubs Pikachu's head and says, it is exciting since the thought of it makes me feel like I can do anything. I'm feeling the same way as Ash, Serena says, though the whole thing was heartwarming. What did you feel when you mingled with Hisui's clans? Mesprit continues to ask. Well, both clans are unique, but they are fun to hang around with. Ash says and Serena nods in agreement. The compliment causes Arita to give a small smile. What did you feel when cast out of the Galaxy team? Mesprit asks the final question, and Serena frowns. To be honest, we are better at first, but we accept it in the end. After all, they have the right to be careful towards us. Mesprit nods and says, I know what you're here for. Take this piece of the spirit to bind the world once more. Mesprit gives them its plume, and adds, we'll meet again, farewell for now. After it teleports away, Arita walks towards them and she says, I know that Pokemon spoke with you, yet the words did not reach my ears. It's mysterious, but I suppose when dealing with someone who fell from the sky, it's only natural to encounter mystery. Next, onto Lake Valor and Lake Acuity. After heading outside to meet Volo, he says, looks like that worked out well, Ash and Serena. I must say. You know an awful lot about Hisui, Volo. I suppose a merchant like you sees all sorts of things in their travels. Arita says. That's right. You could say it's because I'm a merchant, but mostly I'm just naturally filled with curiosity. I want to know exactly what happened in the past that led us to this particular present. Or more accurately, I suppose. I want to know where I came from and where I'm headed. I want to know my path, so to speak. The same goes for me. Arita nods. Our clan settled at the very spot where our forebears once beheld Almighty Sinnoh. But I have still never seen Almighty Sinnoh for myself. Weighty matters to ponder, for sure. But we have an important task before us, Volo suggests. They all head back to the ancient retreat and find Kajita, she says, Mesprit's plume. So the legends told it true. Then the red chain must be real as well. I beg your pardon, Kajita, ma'am. But what do these Pokemon that represent the mind have to do with this red chain? And why exactly should it bind the world? Arita asks. Your doubt suggests a keen intellect. I see you're not your clan's leader for nothing. Without the mind, were the rift to widen and the very world to end, would we even know it? One might even say the world, time, space, all creation, exists only because our minds are free to perceive it. Perhaps the red chain's purpose is to let one see creation as it truly is. Kajita replies. What? So does the mind create the world? But isn't it the other way around? Or is it? Serena asks. Such are myths, my children. Teaching us about the world in their own incomprehensible ways. Kajita replies. They urge us to think more of ourselves. on the nature of Almighty Sinnoh and on the nature of the world in which we dwell. You're absolutely right. Myths and legends are such fascinating things to study, Volo says. In any case, all we have to do is complete 2 more trials and we will get the red chain. Kajita shakes her head with disappointment and says, how nonchalant you sound. How confident of successes to which you contribute nothing. You tag along only for the chance to gawk at more ancient ruins. Ash and Serena sigh as they decide to prepare themselves to the next location, which will be Lake Acuity. So we sneaked inside the house, now what? May asks. They are now hiding behind the kitchen wall since Mimi is still cleaning the living room. Trip takes out a Pokeball and says, first, we have to knock that Mr. Mime out. Chandelure, use Shadow Ball. The attack from the Pokemon hits Mimi at the back, causing it to fall to the ground. Misty says, won't that be too loud to attract those people outside? They are too busy trying to chase those people away. Clemont says, we have to go now. But just as the 8 of them rush upstairs, Mimi suddenly raises its head and gives out another one of his creepy smiles. At the same time, Dawn notices that the traders are gone and she says, oh no, they're gone. They might have gone inside the house when we are trying to stop these people, Salon says. Bonnie peeks into the window and gasps, and Mimi was defeated, what are we going to do now? Mimi won't be defeated that easily, Go says. Everything is according to the plan. Now they are going to be very disappointed. When the 8 traders are at the door, they can hear some voices. Serena, when will Mom come back to the house? She already told us that she is going to buy some ingredients for our dinner. Serena says. We can't leave the bed without her permission, right? Pikachu also makes some sounds to confirm. Now the traders know that both Ash and Serena are inside the room, so they decide to charge into the room, only to find nothing but a television showing Ash and Serena talking about dinner. We're tricked. They're not inside this room, Mallow gasps. And much to their horror, the video changes automatically and both Ash and Serena are now facing them. Ash says, still trying to kill me for something that doesn't belong to you. Too bad for you guys, we are not in our room. This must be pre-recorded, Clemont says as the traders are furious. If you manage to reach our room, that means you guys just fell into our trap. You have nowhere to run. Mimi has already used its barrier to block the stairway. And if you try to jump off the window, our friends would be there waiting to get revenge. The 8 of them pale as they have nowhere to run. Ash says, oh, and don't you even think about using teleport. My mother has already had psychic-type Pokemon set a move to prevent teleportation from our house. After all, she is the Kanto champion and she has to worry about her property. So prepare for the trouble you have nowhere to run. And make it double because this is fun. Even though we won't make you blast off with the speed of light. But you'll surrender now, or prepare for a fight. Then the video ends, causing them to be fuming. Not only did they fall into a trap like that, Ash and Serena are also trying to use Team Rocket's motto to humiliate them. And back downstairs, Professor Oak says, now I should tell you all the truth. Ash and Serena have been teleported out of this house a few hours ago. So stop wasting time trying to get an interview from them. This causes a lot of uproar as to why they are teleported away. Cerise says, people who tried to kill Ash and Serena were trying to use you guys to make a get into this house. Right now I want you guys to call the international police and Officer Jennings to arrest them. The reporters are still confused at what just happened, but they decide to follow the orders of the 2 professors to arrest the traitors. After all, having them arrested is also considering a piece of big news. Ash, Serena, Volo, and Arita arrive at Alabaster Islands, and they are climbing their way up to Lake Acuity. Serena says, I wonder why Lake Acuity is so high above the ground. Yeah, it took us a while to get here. Ash mutters. Not to mention that looking up at the sky while climbing is making me dizzy. Volo smiles, but here we are. Lake Acuity, you know, I've been told it actually contains seawater as well. Nobody knows why, though. It could be a fluke of geography, or perhaps it's connected to a Pokemon somehow. Lake Acuity is protected by the Pokemon Uxie. Ash says. When Uxie took flight, the knowledge to solve problems was born in people's minds. That's what the stories say, anyway. And this time, Serena's Arc phone beeps and glows, just like what happened in Lake Verity. And the glow causes the entrance to appear, just like last time. Volo says, a tool that can make caves simply appear from nowhere is quite a handy one to have. I wonder what waits inside. Arita mutters. I imagine there may be Pokemon in there, protecting the lake's guardian. Take care. Volo says as he continues to stand guard for the three of them. As they enter the cave, Arita shivers a little and says, I sense a chill in the air. What is this? Really? Even the cold, unaffected Arita feels the chill. That means this is not good, Ash mutters. For some reason, you're starting to act like Adaman, Arita mutters. This time, the attack is a Shadow Ball and it is from no other than an Alpha Hisuian Zoroark. Just like the Gudra from before, it is trying to attack them. Could that be the dreaded baneful fox? Arita asks. I'm not sure. Serena says as she decides to go with Samurott to battle. Zoroark goes for an attack and Ash yells, watch out, Serena. It's going for bitter malice. I know, I'm not going to let it freeze Samurott though. Cut it with ceaseless edge, Serena yells. Samurott manages to cut through the attack, and it goes for a Night Slash to deal a lot of damage. Ash says, it is a good thing that Samurott has become the same typing as Greninja. If you think of it, I wonder why Typhlosion is not the same type as Delphox while the other two are the same as Chesnaught and Greninja. Serena mutters as she throws the Pokeball, capturing the baneful Pokemon in the end. The baneful fox. Even though I have already told you guys once back at the caverns, but still, it is a Pokemon said to be filled with malice. We were told stories about it as children, Arita says. Yeah, you did mention about that. Serena says as they see Uxie pops in front of them. Hello, Ash. You are very wise to forgive your good old pal Brock. After all, it is questionable to judge him for murdering you while he didn't do anything, Uxie says. Right. Ash mutters. Enough of this killing nonsense right now. Come. I will test your knowledge, Uxie says. Combee. Zubat. Unknown. Magneton. Dusclops. How many are their eyes? Tell me each, one by one yet all at once. Answer me. Ash and Serena look at each other with surprise, as they aren't expecting to be asked this kind of question. Ash says, well, Combee is a Pokemon made with 3 faces, right? So that means there are 6 eyes on them. Serena says, for Zubat. Didn't we do a request from a person from the Security Corps about how Zubat can navigate through the dark by using sound waves, and we did find out that Zubat doesn't have any eyes. Ash says, unknown is the easy one, considering we have searched every corner of Hisui for all 28 of them. They only have 1 eye each. Serena says, Magneton is also an easy one. It consists of 3 Magnemites, and each of them only has 1 eye, so that is 3 eyes. Ash says, and for Dusclops, we did try to find one for Icecan's request for the Dark Pulse. All that was for making the noble Basculegion's favorite food. It only has 1 eye. The answer is 60,131. Serena says to Uxie. You are correct, then again, you have been doing Father's orders to seek out all Pokemon. Take this piece of the spirit to bind the world once more. Uxie says as he hands over a claw. We'll be seeing sooner. Say hi to Azelf for me. Uxie then teleports away, much to their surprise. Arita asks, so what were you guys discussing? And what did Uxie ask? Then Ash and Serena explain Uxie's question, and Arita also finds it very hard to answer all of them at once. So Ash and Serena decide to reveal the answer for her. She says, goodness, that was tricky, but only one more to go now. Once they get out of the cave, Volo says, I assume all went well, Ash and Serena. Still, I must wonder. Why don't they just give us the red chain? Why all this running about? Perhaps they mean to test whether whoever seeks it is worthy, Arita suggests. Perhaps you are right. Who knows what would happen if it fell into the wrong hands, after all, Volo says. Though on the other hand, what use would those wrong hands have for it? Who can say for sure? Maybe the red chain has some other use besides mending the world. Trying to use it to destroy the world and create a new one. Ash whispers to Serena, causing her to shiver a little. I start to wonder if I'm shivering because of your words or because of the cold, Serena mutters. The red chain's as mysterious as this entire predicament we're in. But if we continue visiting the lakes, we'll get closer to an answer, Arita says. But right now I just want to leave this place and go back to rest in the ancient retreat, Ash mutters. Wonderful. Then we can see if Mistress Kajita has any more insights to share with us, Volo says. They all return to the ancient retreat and greet Kajita. She says, "So that's Yuxi's claw. I sense a warmth to it. I do have to wonder if anyone else has ever completed the trials of these lake Pokemon." Arita asks. Indeed. Yet we may want to add just a dash more speed. Things in Jubilife Village are tense, Volo says. What makes you say so? Kajita asks. It seems a Pokemon's been glimpsed on the other side of the rift. One of those Ginkgo Guild merchants informed me that Commander Kamado has raised a force not to survey the Pokemon but to subdue it, should the need arise. One of those Ginkgo Guild merchants? You make it sound as if you're not one of them, Kajita says. Now if a Pokemon truly were to appear from beyond the rift, what would become of everyone, I wonder? Volo asks. Don't let Hisui's great vastness stop you, Ash and Serena. Let's go get the final item we need, Arita says. That's the spirit. I'll come to watch this historic moment unfold, too, Volo adds. Watch? Is that all you really do? Kajita asks. Remember, once you've sought the third lake and found what's needed for the red chain, make for the shrouded ruins. Ash and Serena nod as they all head to the Crimson Mirelands for the final lake, Lake Valor. At the same time, Professor Oak leads half of the group upstairs to Ash's room, while the other half are surrounding the doors and windows of the house, preventing them from getting away. When they open the door, Professor Oak says, "You have nowhere to run." Like we are going to be captured right now, Misty says as they all take out their weapons. All of you stand back, or else we'll hurt you guys for sure. If you think those weapons are going to threaten us, think again. Sophocles says as the windows are open, and all their weapons are flying out of the air, attached to a magnezone. A magnezone? The traders are surprised, and Sophocles says, International police has special ways to take away harmful weapons. Now they won't be a problem for us. We still have Pokemon. Iris says as they try to send out their Pokemon, but Professor Oak takes out an Alakazam and says, "Psychic on those Pokeballs." Now their Pokeballs are floating in the air, much to their surprise. Professor Oak says, "We have been waiting for this moment for almost a year. Do you think we won't be prepared for anything you've thrown upon us?" One officer, Jenny, steps forward and shows the badge. "Now come with us and you have the right to remain silent." The group of 8 realizes that they have nothing to do as they can only raise their hands to the air as the police officers use handcuffs on them. But just as they get outside, they try to struggle by trying to run away even though they still have their handcuffs. Alakazam's hypnosis manages to put them into sleep as they can't struggle anymore. With them out of the way, the reporters start to chase after the police cars for the huge news, leaving Ash's true friends at the house. Lily smiles. "We've done it. Now they're arrested. Just look at them all." Gladian sighs. All because of the greed. Ash becomes the world champion because he deserves it by beating Leon. What about them? They didn't try to challenge Ash for the title. Instead, they tried to murder him for the money? They are even worse than Team Rocket. Lana finishes. But still, even though they managed to arrest them, Ash and Serena won't be back for their trials, considering that they are still in the past. Dawn frowns. Even Delia got sent back to the past as well by what? Ash's ancestor? Brock asks. But I can't blame the situation since they would really need someone close for encouragement. Bonnie frowns a little and says, "But still, I just don't feel it right, to get my brother arrested like that. He made his own bed, so he has to lie in it." Go assures her. "So now what? Should we tell Ms. Ketchum the news?" Dawn asks. "We should," Lily says as she contacts Delia through the ARC phone. After she answers the call, Lily tells her everything. "I'm glad that the videos that we sent really work a lot," Delia smiles. "So what are we going to do with those traitors?" Lily asks. "Right now they're arrested, they won't be a problem to anyone. It is up to Ash and Serena for their judgment. After all, attempted murder for the second time makes things worse," Delia sighs. "But we have some problems that are related to the press," Lily continues. "The traitors' arrest manages to distract them, but who knows when they will be back as they want to interview Ash and Serena. What are we going to do about that?" "To tell the truth, I don't know as well." Delia sighs as the others also feel the same way. Ash, Serena, Arita, and Volo arrive at Lake Valor, which is located at Crimson Mirelands. Ash takes a breath and says, I can't believe I'm going to see Azulf again. Azulf is the one that chooses you back in your journey in the Sinnoh region, right? Serena asks. Yeah. Ash smiles. He sure is an old friend of mine, and it is also the leader of all three of them. That's why Team Galactic tried to blast the whole Lake Valor back at that time. Once they are in the middle of the lake, Volo asks, do you know about Lake Valor? It is said to have been formed by a volcanic eruption, much like Lake Verity. Though there are also theories that say it was carved out in the midst of a Pokemon battle. I know, the lake is protected by the Pokemon Azulf. When Azulf took flight, the will to do what needs doing was born in people's hearts. Or that is what legend would have us believe, Ash says. Then the Arc phone glows for the third time and opens the entrance of the lake for the third time as well. Volo says, Ho! A cave appears where there was none, as if just for Ash and Serena. Let's head in, Ash and Serena. Arita says. I imagine strong Pokemon could wait inside, protecting the Pokemon of the lake. Take care, Volo says as the three of them enter the cave. After getting inside, Arita looks around and says, what an eerie space. Why would there be columns inside a cave, anyway? That sure is a good question. Does it have to do with the ancient hero? Serena asks with confusion. Just then, a dark pulse is about to hit them as they quickly dodge the attack. In front of them is no other than an Alpha Overquill. Just great. Another Pokemon with only one weakness, Ash mutters. Watch yourself, Ash, Serena. Those quills look vicious, Arita says. Ash goes for Garchomp to battle, and Garchomp starts with the Earth Power, which deals a lot of damage. Overquill goes for Double Edge, slamming the Pokemon into the wall. Garchomp. Hang in there and I know you can do it. Draco Meteor, Ash yells, and Garchomp shoots out a lot of meteors and some of them manage to hit Overquill, but it goes for Barb Barrage, poisoning Garchomp. Now it gets poisoned, Serena says with concern. Ash looks at Garchomp and then he takes out an Ultra Ball. I can't let Garchomp battle further. He throws a Pokeball at the Overquill, and much to their surprise, Overquill is captured in the end. Well, that's nice, Serena says. You caught it in one go. Yeah. Ash says with a sigh. I knew you can do it, Ash, Arita says. Just then, Azulf teleports itself into the cave, and he floats towards Ash and nuzzles him. It's good to see you as well, Azulf. Compared to Uxie and Mesprit, Azulf seems really close to you, Serena says. Yeah. We've been good friends. Ash says. Azulf, I assume you know why we are here, right? Azulf nods and he also uses telepathy. Show to me unyielding will like you always did. Strike me, if you can. Just then, he manages to get a basket of bombs. Much to their surprise, Arita asks, wait. Bombs? Are you meant to try to hit Azulf with them, then? Ash turns to Serena. Help me, Serena. Just like what we did with those noble frenzied Pokemon. Serena nods as they throw bombs at Azulf, but it just teleports out of the way with ease. Hey. It keeps using teleport, Serena says. I know, he can just dodge all the bombs with ease, Ash says. Azulf stands in front of them with a taunt. Will you abandon this folly? As if we will give up, Ash says as Serena tries to throw one at Azulf, but it manages to dodge again. They also waste more bombs to fail. It seems you had best give up. Will you continue regardless? Azulf asks. Our motto is never giving up until it is over. So we are still going, Ash says as they continue to throw the bombs, and Azulf continues to dodge. Even Pikachu joining the fight doesn't help at all. Give up. You struggle in vain. Will you yet press on? Azulf adds. You know us very well, Azulf. Nothing is in vain. We will definitely hit you in the end, Ash says as he takes the last bomb and throws it at Azulf, and this time, Azulf just takes the hit. That hurts more than I've expected. Azulf mutters. But I'm glad to see your will never change. Take this piece of the spirit to bind the world once more. He gives them his fang, much to their surprise. Azulf says, now do what you must do, we'll be waiting for you. After Azulf teleports away, Arita says, that looked exhausting. But now we've journeyed to all three lakes. Yeah, let's go to the Shrouded Ruins, Ash says as they head outside. Volo greets them and says, it seems we've finished the 3 lake trials. If I remember correctly, We were told to then head for the shrouded ruins. I don't know what could await us there, but I'm always excited to explore some ancient ruins. Let us be on our way. After arriving at the shrouded ruins, Ash, Serena, and Arita remember how they get a spiritomb here before the whole red sky happened. Volo looks at a destroyed mural and says, "The shrouded ruins. Mist is so very good at obscuring things. It's long been said to blur boundaries. If we're to somehow bring together the world of humans, the world of Pokemon, and the world of myth, then maybe we need a setting such as this. That being said, what are we meant to do now? Seems we've made it in time." They turn around to see Delia and Kajita arriving at the ruins. Ash asks, "Mom? Miss Kajita? You arrived just when we'd assembled all 3 gifts. Did you somehow see our progress across the distance dividing us?" Arita asks. "We had the aid of a rather remarkable Pokemon, if you really wish to know," Kajita says. "Could you mean that Pokemon that flits about the Hisui region?" Arita asks. "Ah, but never mind that now. What about the red chain? How are we to forge it?" "I would hardly know." Kajita frowns. "We speak of a divine instrument, one said to be capable of binding the very world. Do you really imagine it can be forged by mortal hands? Then what are we to do? Search the entire vastness of Hisui for the answer?" Arita asks. Delia turns to Ash and asks, "Ash, do you know anything?" Ash says, "If I remember from my battle with Team Galactic, Cyrus forced Azulf, Mesprit, and Yuxi to create them. So we are the ones that can make them." Ash and Serena hear the voices as they look up. Yuxi, Mesprit, and Azulf are floating in front of them. "Ah. The Pokemon of the lakes," Kajita says. The 3 of them glow and suddenly, the 3 items that they gained from the Lake Guardians start to glow and merge. Once the glow is done, a circle of red chain formed in front of them as Ash holds it in his hands. "So this is the red chain," Ash says in awe at the item in his hands. The same one Cyrus used to control Dialga and Palkia. So it was true. The pact our people have passed down for all these generations has been kept. Kajita says. "At last, I can set this burden aside." "You've succeeded once again, Ash and Serena," Volo says. "Yet, things do not seem to be going so well for the rest of the world." "What have you heard now?" Arita asks. "I've had some news from my fellow merchants in the Ginkgo Guild. It seems that the commander is going to forego waiting for our investigation to finish. He plans to climb Mount Coronet himself," Volo says. "Has he lost his senses?" Arita gasps. "He plans to get close to the rift? To study it himself?" "Well, he doesn't yet know that our Ash and Serena managed to get the red chain, now, does he?" Volo asks. "That's true. There's no way he could," Arita says. "We need to tell him about the chain, and about everything Ash and Serena have achieved, before he sets out." Back at the Jubilife village, Akari is watching how the security corps rush out of the Jubilife village with Commander Kamado. She is very worried that something might happen. But while she is thinking, she notices Ash and Serena rush into the village and head towards the Galaxy Hall. "Ash and Serena." Akari gasps as she rushes towards them. "Welcome back. It's been grim here. We in the Survey Corps hardly even speak to one another lately. But with you back, maybe Captain Silene's appetite for potato mochi will return." Ash says, "Really? Nice knowing that she cares for us a lot. Anyway, wait here a minute, will you? I'll go and let the captain know you're back." Akari says as she rushes first, and after a while, Akari comes back with Laventon. "Oh, my dear Ash and Serena," Laventon says as he hugs both of them. "The professor has been awfully worried about you, Ash and Serena," Akari says. "Of course I was worried, but I don't think I could hold a candle to the distress you showed, Akari," Laventon says. That's blowing it out of proportion." Akari frowns. "I don't think it's appropriate for an adult to make things up just to hide their embarrassment. But, where is the captain? Wasn't she coming along with you, Professor?" "She's buried under a mound of work, I'm afraid. We're to join her in the Survey Corps office," Laventon says. It seems her hands are more than full now that Commander Kamado's gone. "So he has already set off, huh?" Ash asks. "Well, he set out for Mount Coronet with the Security Corps in tow," Laventon says. "He's determined to handle this whole space-time rift business himself, including dealing with the Pokemon that's been spotted on the other side." That's why I was filling in for the regular guards, with Pikachu at the ready, Akari says. Well, we aren't getting anywhere out here. Let's head inside and report to the captain. Laventon adds as they all head to the Galaxy Hall. Back in the modern world, while Don and the others are still at Professor Oak's lab trying to figure out a way to distract the press, they accidentally turn on the television to see something disturbing. The news is about the red sky in the Sinnoh region and how it is starting to spread out, so they quickly rush outside. That direction is really the Sinnoh region. What in the world? Brock gasps. Could it be related to Ash and Serena being in the past? Lily questions. But that sky, it is spreading. Just what is going on here? Professor Oak mutters as well. For some reason, this red sky is something we should be worrying right now. Ash and Serena are now in the Galaxy Hall with Silene, Laventon, and Akari. Silene says, so you two managed not to die. Just as I ordered, well done. Thanks to you, Captain. Ash says, referring to her lending her Abra so that they can switch out their Pokemon from the pastures. I have no idea what you're implying. All I know is Abra vanished of its own accord, inconveniencing me greatly. Silene says. Before moving forward, I must ask. I assume that you are here again because you've managed to learn something of use. Serena holds the red chain and says, we have this, the red chain. Go on. Silene says as both Ash and Serena tell them the story of how they visit the three lakes. A legendary tool said to bind the very world. Commander Kamado is no longer here in Jubilife Village. The security corps had been scouting the area near the space-time rift. And they reported sightings of something on the other side of it. Something that resembled a Pokemon. The commander made the decision to take the security corps to the mountains so as to prepare to fend off any possible threat. They were to make for the temple at the peak. Akari says, however strong the commander himself may be, he should have gotten Ash and Serena to help. As the captain of the Survey Corps, I hereby order you to proceed as follows. Ash and Serena. Take that red chain to Mount Coronet, make your way to the peak, and put an end to all this. Not only you're officially reinstated at your former rank, but you also have my permission to get another star in your rank. Ash and Serena widen their eyes. Now they are officially 9 rank members. They also get 10 rare candies and 20 grit pebbles from the captain. Continue to dedicate yourself to completing the Pokédex if you hope to rise higher in the ranks. Akari has her concerns as she asks, are you certain you can do that with the commander away, Captain? Silene closes her eyes with a sigh and then opens them with determination. If he didn't wish me to decide things in his place, then he should not have left me in charge here. Laventon says, then I'll go as well. We're all in this together, we members of the Survey Corps. Naturally. No one suggested you should not. Silene nods. Just as they get outside of the Galaxy Hall, they find Arita at the gateway waiting for them. Did you find the commander, Ash and Serena? Arita asks. No, the commander is already at Mount Coronet. Silene replies in Ash and Serena's place. Already? How could a grown man like Commander Kamado be so reckless? Arita yells. First expelling you, Ash and Serena, and now this. I think he needs a stern talking to. As the leader of the Pearl Clan, loyal to Almighty Sinnoh who reigns over all space. I can go anywhere in vast Hisui that I please, and now I am going to go stop the commander. Then she quickly rushes off to take a carriage. Silene sighs and says, Who is the reckless one? Just then, a boy and a girl walk towards Ash and Serena. The boy says, hey, you got run out of the village, right? But you still tried to find a way to help us all? Ash and Serena nod at them and Akari says, that's right, Ash and Serena worked hard to get that red chain to help us. Top right, and a fine job he did, too. Laventon adds. The Survey Corps is always hard at work for the sake of everyone here in the village, as well as for the sake of our relations with Pokemon. The girl steps forward and says, thanks, here, take this. She gives them a max revive, and Ash smiles, thank you. Then both the boy and the girl run off. Silene says, your orders are 3. 1. Make for the summit camp and, from there, the Temple of Sinnoh. 2. Use the red chain to resolve this mess. And 3. Return here, alive. Yes, ma'am. Ash and Serena say in unison as they quickly get their carriage to the Coronet Highlands. But as they are on the carriage, they get a call from Lily through the ARC phone. Ash, Serena. We have serious trouble. The whole world is in a mess, Lily says. Lily explains to them how the sky is red and the time is moving backward. Ash says, "Don't tell me that what we are doing here also affects the future." "Then we have no time to waste," Serena says. "Lily, we have the help of Mesprit, Yuxi, and Azulf to create this red chain, and we are going to use it to save the whole world. Perhaps if we succeed, maybe the world will be returned to normal." "I wish if what you said is true. The only place isn't affected is the Ether Foundation, since we were basically in the gap between both worlds with the power of the Hall of Origin," Lily says. "We're counting on you guys." Ash and Serena nod as they quickly end the call since they finally arrive at the summit camp, which is close to the place where they fought against the noble Hisui and Electrode. Volo also arrives and he says, "I've heard the latest. So you've been accepted back into the Galaxy team, have you? I suppose congratulations are in order. Here, some max potions from me to celebrate." He gives them 3 max potions, and Volo adds, "It looks like the big moment is upon us at last. But no doubt it'll be fine, after all, you worked so hard to earn that red chain." Both Adaman and Arita have headed to the peak as well. "My good friends Ash and Serena. I wish you great fortune in the battles to come. I would truly regret losing one of our most beloved and loyal customers. It seems Kamado intends to use the summit camp as a base of operations for this undertaking. As for me, I think I will set up a shop closer to the temple itself." After that, he leaves while heading up to the summit. Before Ash and Serena can leave, they are stopped by Melly, a person from the Diamond Clan that both Ash and Serena hate the most. Things certainly seem to have gotten out of hand. "Well, if anything goes wrong, the great Melly will be here. For moral support, at least," Melly says. "Well, thanks." Ash and Serena smile a little before rushing towards the peak. Once they go past the guard guarding the path to the Temple of Sinnoh, they stopped as they see Benny, the potato mochi maker at Wallflower, standing in front of them. "Oh ho. Still alive and kicking?" Benny asks. "Sorry about having to shutter the Wallflower. I'd much rather be there now, serving up some freshly grilled potato mochi. But that taskmaster Kamado's gone and left me to oversee our food supply. He always finds a way to put even these old bones to work." "It must be hard for you," Serena says. "No need to worry. While I'm handling that, I suppose I'll handle you as well. Time we got rid of you once and for all." Benny suddenly turns serious, and Ash and Serena are surprised by it. "What do you mean get rid of us?" Ash says with horror. "I'll make myself plain. As Kamado's right hand, I'm charged with executing all the gritty deeds Kamado can't or won't do himself. I gave him my word I'd get rid of any fools that might dream of getting in the way of his plans," Benny says. "We're not getting in the way of his plans, we just want to help," Serena says. "And besides, it's not just Kamado who longs to live in a new home free of fear or strife. His dream is mine now, too," Benny says. "You've seen my smoke bombs before, right? Well, this is how you're meant to use them." He throws one smoke bomb to blind Ash and Serena for a moment, and when they open their eyes again, Benny has become a white-colored ninja, much to their surprise. "When I heard you managed to quell those nobles one after another, oh, did it ever make my blood run hot and my heart pound. At last. At last. One final opponent worthy of my great ninja techniques that have been left to molder all these long years." Ash and Serena groan a little as they are facing against a ninja, and Benny sends out a Mismagus to battle. Serena says, "I'll do the battle, Ash. Zoroark, I need your assistance." Serena sends out the Alpha Zoroark, which manages to block the Shadow Ball attack, and it goes for Bitten Malice, freezing the Mismagus. Mismagus goes for Power Gem, only for Zoroark to dodge every one of them with ease, and Zoroark finishes with Hex. The second Pokemon for Benny is Sneasler. Serena switches into Gardevoir for this battle, but Gardevoir takes a lot of damage by the Dire Claw, also causing it to get paralyzed. But Gardevoir manages to stay on the field as it finishes Sneasler with the Psychic attack. The third Pokemon is Benny's own Gardevoir, which knocks out Serena's with a Shadow Ball, so Serena changes to Goodra to battle, using Shelter to raise the defense and evasiveness. It lands an Iron Tail to knock the Gardevoir out. The final Pokemon is Gallade, and it goes for close combat to defeat Goodra. Since Gallade's defense drops a lot, Serena goes for Staraptor and has it use Brave Bird to knock it out. It seems my ninja techniques will soon be consigned to history. Benny frowns after his final Pokemon is down. Very good, young one. Very good indeed. It's only a foolish ninja who tries to keep after a target they know they cannot beat. And to be honest, I don't hate you. Might actually like you, after a fashion. At least for the skills you show in battle. Glad to know that. Ash says. But listen well, Ash and Serena. Pokemon are truly terrifying creatures. Kamado and I saw our hometown burned to the ground by maddened Pokemon running amok. We lost plenty of friends and comrades that day. That's why Kamado came here to Hisui to try to build a new home where people could live free from fear, Benny says. We heard the whole thing from Commander Kamado, Ash nods. But to achieve something truly great, you sometimes have to take extreme actions. If, hypothetical as it may be, a Pokemon were to appear from within that space-time rift, Kamado might lose hold of Hiei reason. Save Kamado from himself. By force, if you must. Do that, and I'll stuff you full of more delicious potato mochi than a human stomach can handle. Benny says as he steps aside to let them through. Don't worry, Benny. We have already promised that we are going to save the whole world from whoever is inside the rift, and we will also save Commander Kamado as well. Ash says as they quickly rush to the exit of the cave. Professor Oak and everyone are now sitting at the Ether Foundation, as Lucamine decides to open the television to show what Ash and Serena are doing. Brock asks, wait for just a second. If we could see what Ash and Serena are doing from this television, why didn't we come here sooner? Lily says, we did try to watch the television to see what they are doing, but with some issues, we decided not to. What kind of issues? Dawn asks with confusion. Getting hurt by Pokemon, almost falling into the lava, drowning from the river, and so on. Lily says, they are in the past, not everything is very convenient like we are in right now. But since the world was about to end if Ash and Serena fails, we've decided to see what will happen. Gladian says as they see how Ash and Serena come out of a cave. As they walk to the top, they find Adaman and Arita waiting for them. Dawn asks, wait, who are those two? Why is one of them looking just like Serena? According to Ms. Yvonne, they are Serena's ancestors, Adaman of the Diamond Clan, and Arita of the Pearl Clan. Lily says, they have been traveling with Ash and Serena to provide a lot of help. Adaman says, you'd better take that red chain up to the top of the mountain. That Pokemon threatening to descend on the peak any moment now. I think. It may be Almighty Sinnoh. But all this has to be stopped, and you're the only one who can do it. Arita adds, Almighty Sinnoh seems to be nearly here, but still the commander obstructs us. They all look up at the temple, as Ash and Serena walk towards the top to find Kamado wearing a suit of black armor. Kamado notices Ash and Serena's arrival and he says, you again. I've heard that this red chain of yours will bind the world. I assume that to bind the world means to hold the world together, keeping it as it's meant to be. A welcome idea. But can I truly put my faith in such tales? You have to trust us, Commander Kamado, Ash says. Indeed, Commander, please, be reasonable, Arita adds. I understand that you're bound to protect your people as commander of the Galaxy Expedition Team. I have the same duty toward my clan. But doubting Ash and Serena like this. You're not just wrong, you're a fool. Big sis Arita. Serena gasps. Kamado lowers his head and says, perhaps you are right, but if I were to simply place my faith in these two, and that faith were to be betrayed, then how could I possibly face my people? You may think you're the only one desperate to protect the people of Jubilife, but you're not, Arita says. Ash and Serena are putting their lives on the line as well. Kamado then says, fine, enough. Let fate decide what happens next, whichever of us is stronger will prevail. Face me with your Pokemon, Ash and Serena. Today we battle in earnest. You bet, Ash says, Serena, I'll battle since you just battled Benny. Okay. Serena nods, I trust you. Then Kamado sends out his Braviary while Ash goes with Glalie. Salon asks, that is not the Braviary that I know. This is an ancient Sinnoh form of Braviary, it is psychic and flying type. Glalie has the type advantage, Lily says. Glalie goes for the Ice Fang attack, but Braviary manages to dodge the attack and goes with Air Slash, causing a lot of damage to Glalie. Glalie. Agile style Ice Shard, followed by Crunch attack. Ash yells, and Glalie manages to get a lot of damage to the Braviary. Esper Wing. Kamado commands, and it gets a critical hit on Glalie, then it tries to do it again, only for Glalie to dodge the attack. In the end, Glalie knocks Braviary out with a blizzard attack. Kamado's second Pokemon is Golem, and Ash switches to Basculegion for battle. Bonnie says, that is a new one. It's Basculegion, an evolved form of Basculin, it is water and ghost type, Gladion says. Golem goes with the stealth rock attack, causing some pointy stones to be in Basculegion. Ash says, Basculegion, I trust you and use Wave Crash. Basculegion strikes the Golem with a super effective attack, but Basculegion also takes a lot of recoil damage. But the Rays of Speed manages to let Rock Slide miss, and then Basculegion goes with the Shadow Ball to finish it off. The third Pokemon is Clefable, and Ash switches to Sneasler to battle. Now all of them are surprised at the new Pokemon Ash has, and they also see how Sneasler takes a lot of damage from the Calm Mind plus Psychic attack. Sneasler, I know you are really weak to it, but please, use Dire Claw, Ash says, and Sneasler manages to make Clefable poisoned, but in the end, Sneasler is still knocked out, so Ash decides to go with Pikachu for battle. You can do it, Pikachu. Bonnie cheers and the same goes with the others in the Foundation. Pikachu goes with the Iron Tail, knocking out Clefable. The final Pokemon is Snorlax, and it goes for high horsepower, but Pikachu manages to dodge the attack. Pikachu, Rock Smash, Ash commands, and Pikachu deals a super effective attack. Snorlax manages to land a Giga Impact on Pikachu, causing a lot of damage, but Pikachu still stands and goes with a Thunderbolt, knocking the final Pokemon out of the battle. Kamado widens his eyes after his defeat, and he sighs, you truly are a force to be reckoned with. Much to everyone's surprise, Kamado kneels down with shame and says, Ash and Serena. The fates have decided. I concede. And I apologize sincerely for doubting you. Commander Kamado, please don't do this, Ash says with shock. I know I have no right to ask it of you any longer, but please use that strength of yours for the sake of the Galaxy Expedition Team. No, for the sake of the Celestica people and all the Pokemon living in Hisui, Kamado says. Don't you worry, Commander. We've got the red chain, Adaman says as he helps him up. Ash turns to Serena and he says, are you ready, Serena? You bet. Serena replies. The two of them walk up the stairs along with the other members as they walk into the temple. They notice the 10 statues of noble Pokemon that they have befriended and battled. They stop at the end as Don and Brock widen their eyes. This is the Spear Pillar. Yeah. The same place where Cyrus tried to summon Dialga and Palkia. Don't tell me that Ash and Serena are. Come on. Now's the time. Use the red chain, Adaman says. Wait. What? What is this? Urita gasps as Serena asks, Urita, what's wrong? There's a voice in my head. No, in my heart. It's speaking to me. Urita gasps, then her eyes become dull as her voice becomes deeper. You hold the red chain. Try to catch me, then. Whoa, Urita. Do you hear what you're saying? Catch you? Adaman shakes Urita to make her back to normal, and she says, Almighty Sinnoh? I think Almighty Sinnoh may be speaking to me, it's telling me. Then she changes again, and says, you hold the red chain. Try to catch me, then, for the fight to come. Kamado takes out some Ultra Balls and says, take these. Ash and Serena take the balls as they step up the stairs, and just then, the ground is shaking as a portal starts to open. Everyone is having a hard time standing still, and Ash and Serena are staring into the portal until he appears as no other than Palkia, the ruler of space. That's Palkia, Don gasps. Don't tell me that Ash and Serena are going to fight him. Brock gasps, but then he notices Ash is holding something in his hands. Wait, is that the red chain? The same one that Team Galactic tried to control Dialga and Palkia? Does that mean Ash is trying to? Palkia, I don't want to do this to you, but I need your assistance. Then the red chain floats into the air and starts to form a circle. It surrounds Palkia until the energy pouring from the Pokemon manages to calm down. But much to their surprise, the red chain shatters into pieces as they fall to the ground. Serena says, did it work? This red chain is still different from the red chain that Cyrus used. Ash says, but I think Palkia is calmed a little. All we have to do is weaken it and capture it. Both of them send out Sylveon and Gardevoir, as they all go with the calm mind. Palkia is charging up its left hand and Serena says, "Watch out, it is trying to use Spatial Rend." "Don't worry, that's a dragon-type move, Sylveon and Gardevoir are fairy types, they can take it," Ash replies. Both Pokémon manage to take the attack, and Gardevoir goes with the Moonblast to deal a lot of damage, with Sylveon helping out by using Play Rough. "Let's try this." Ash throws an Ultra Ball, which sucks Palkia in, but just by a shake, Palkia manages to break out and goes with the Hydro Pump. "Damn it. I know that legendary Pokémon are not that easy," Serena mutters. "But we can't give up," Ash says as he throws one more Pokeball, and in the end, Palkia is captured. "We did it," both of them cheer at the capture. Palkia's research tasks. Number caught. 1 times you have seen it use Aqua Tail. 1, 3, 6, 12, 25 times you have seen it use Spatial Rend. 1, 3, 8, 20, 40 times you've seen it use a strong style move. 1, 3, 8, 20, 40 times you've seen it use an agile style move. 1, 3, 8, 20, 40. Hisui Dex entry number 236 Palkia. The spatial Pokemon, water and dragon type. This Pokemon is feared as a deity in Hisuian legend. The birth of Palkia was what caused the walls of our world to disappear, creating a sky that spans for infinity. Ash and Serena caught Palkia. "Just like that?" Dawn asks. "I can't believe it." Lana mutters, both jealousy and awe. Jealousy because Ash caught a water type, and in awe at how Ash manages to capture a Palkia. "He caught it, right? He caught Almighty Sinnoh," Urita gasps. "The red chain's been shattered, but we've still got the Pokemon of the lakes to thank for getting this far," Adaman adds. "Oh, well done, Ash and Serena. Masterfully handed." They notice that Professor Laventon and Akari manage to catch up to them, and Dawn widens her eyes to see that Akari has the same face as her. "Looks like Ash and Serena met your ancestor, I assume," Salon says to Dawn, who is still in a state of shock. "When did you come here?" Serena asks. "I was watching the whole time as you battled and caught your way to a simply stunning victory," Laventon says. "You truly are the pride of the Survey Corps." "Looks like I taught them well." Akari smiles. Urita says, "Ah, I can hear Almighty Sinnoh. No, it's called Palkia. Mighty Palkia is speaking to me in my mind." Urita seems to be controlled by Palkia again as she says, "Space-time grows chaotic. The power fails. The frenzied one. It comes now to fight. That is why I am here." "You're telling me there's another one?" Kamado asks. "But the red chain's smashed to bits. No way even Ash and Serena could tackle another Pokemon as strong as the last one now." Another portal appears and Ash and Serena gulp. Ash says, "If we manage to meet Palkia, then it will be inevitable to meet the other one." Then another dragon comes out of the portal and lands in front of them. It leads a loud roar as Ash mutters, "Dialga." Dialga roars at them and Serena asks, "What are we going to do now?" Kamado says, "All of you, we must vacate this GA. Forget the fancy talk. Book it. Come on. We gotta make it back to the summit camp while we still can. We need to leave before this other Almighty Sinnoh decides it wants to fight us." Adaman says, "But, Commander, we can't just leave it here," Urita adds. "Ya dunce. Ya won't be any use to anybody if ya die up here on this mountain." Kamado yells. "What a ya waitin' for? I'm tellin' ya, we gotta get gone." Ash and Serena grit their teeth a little as they follow everyone back to the summit camp. And back in the Ether Foundation, Dawn and the others are also concerned. Go says, "That makes sense, those two are fighting again. It's a good thing that the Ether Foundation won't be affected by the space and time," Lily says as they look outside, but for outside of the world. At the same time, Ash and the others are back at the summit camp, and Laventon says, "Such dreadful power. It's certainly beyond our current capabilities to survey such a creature. I'm amazed you even managed to stay on your feet before it, Ash and Serena. And did you notice the energy pouring out of the rift? It seems likely that a buildup of this same energy was what caused the strange lightning that threw the noble Pokemon into their frenzied states." Urita says, So the two clans truly were following different Almighty Sinnoh, but both were real. What a shocking turn of events. To say nothing of the shock of hearing the commander speak so differently. Kamado says, I must apologize, from the bottom of my heart. To the both of you, as fellow leaders. You saw the truth that I could not. You never abandoned your trust in Ash and Serena. And to you, Ash and Serena. I acted on ill-considered presumptions and drove you from the Galaxy Expedition team, forcing you two to face great hardship alone. And despite all that, you still strove to save all of Hisui. This is not just about Hisui, this is also concerning the whole world, thus we need all the help to stop it once and for all, Ash says. Well, it's not like we could just sit back and ignore the space-time rift, Adaman adds. And we understood, Commander, that you had reasons to act as you did. Urita agrees. Commander, might I suggest we return to the matter at hand? We've left things in quite a state up at the temple, Laventon says. That's the stuff. Mr. Professor, you'd rather face what's in front of us than dwell on the past, huh? Adaman asks. Just what I'd expect from a real scientist. A dependable attitude indeed. Kamado nods. Yes, let us move on. No need to speak any further about my rash actions. Not to mention my loss of composure. It seems that having Ash and Serena about has been a good influence on all. That's only natural. Ash and Serena are strong enough to defeat even this new opponent single-handedly, Urita adds. Whoa, whoa. Slow down. Did you forget that the red chain broke? Adaman asks. We'll be all right, armed with the knowledge mighty Palkia imparted to me, Urita says. Palkia? The Pokemon that talked to you? Adaman asks. Yes, it told me its name, but that's not all. It also told me this. The Stone of Creation's beginning. The Chain of Red. The vessel of humankind's invention. Unite these three, and calm the chaos now disturbing the flow of time. And then, mighty Palkia must go with us back to the temple, it said. Well, that Chain of Red is in pieces now, but if little bits will do, I gathered those. Adaman takes out the pieces and shows them. And, the vessel of humankind's invention. I dare say that might refer to a Pokeball, Laventon says. That's got to be it, but what about that Stone of Creation's beginning part? Adaman asks. Lien might have some idea. Urita suggests. He's knowledgeable about stones and minerals. He even goes digging for ore sometimes. Is that so? Then Warden Lien will be a fine resource to consult. Kamado nods. And what are your thoughts, Professor Laventon? Do you have any idea what this stone could be? Laventon thinks for a while until an idea comes to him. Oh, upon my word, perhaps I do. Ash and Serena. Could you lend me those plates you received from Wardir and the others? The ones that Volo said had messages engraved upon them? Ash takes out the earth plate and says, You mean this? Laventon looks at the plate and he says, Aha! Just as I remembered. Here on the back of the earth plate, it says, When the universe was created, its shards became this plate. I think this may be a hint to what we need. How do you mean? Urita asks. Don't you see? We must search for stone, or rather ore, I suppose, that shares the same material properties as these plates, Laventon says. In fact, I believe that young Lien might know just where to find such a thing, as he said he'd been investigating it at Volo's urging. Now that you mention it, that Volo fellow's come around the diamond settlement asking about those plates before, too. Adaman mutters. This seems like a lead worth following, Urita smiles. It's decided, then. Thus begins our search for the Stone of Creation's beginning. Although the name is rather a mouthful, wouldn't you say? I propose we call it Origin Ore. Urita. May we ask for your clan's aid once more? Kamado asks. Of course. I'll call Lien to the summit camp at once. Urita says as she rushes to do that. When everyone is working, Ash and Serena decide to send out Palkia from the Ultra Ball, and Palkia bows at Ash and Serena. Ash says, Palkia. I want to know, this is what? The third time when you and Dialga are fighting. First, you tried to bring a whole town into your dimension and causes it to almost tear apart, and the second time tried to make us all back to infants and all Pokemon went back to their eggs. I know Team Rocket was the cause of the second one. Why are you fighting him this time? I have no intention to fight Dialga this time, as Arceus orders, We tried to save you guys by sending you to the past after you're gone. But then, Dialga has gone mad and opened up that space-time rift, creating alpha Pokemon and making noble Pokemon frenzy, and then you know the rest. Palkia replies through telepathy. Why is Dialga gone mad this time? Serena asks. Do you know the reason behind it? Palkia shakes his head as he doesn't know what causes it to happen. Ash sighs. So let me guess. The red sky is made by Dialga, who was also in some sort of frenzy, right? What will happen if we don't stop him? Palkia frowns. The time in your world will be converted. Your friends in your world will be changed back to infants and then nothing, so is Pokemon. However, with Father's protection, your foundation or something won't be affected by Dialga's power. So the time will be converted, and then what? Serena asks. This world we are in will merge with the world we live in, right? Palkia nods, and it says, I can't stop Dialga alone. That's why I used your Pearl Leader's mind to speak to everyone about what you need to stop him. Ash and Serena nod as they recall Palkia. But just that's done, Melly just walks towards them and he asks, I waited as long as anyone could reasonably expect, but my invitation just never came. So I decided to honor you all with an unsolicited visit. Be glad and rejoice. Now, Adaman. I see all these other louts have their little tasks to be getting on with. But what of the great Melly? Where's my role in all this? Adaman sighs, I'm your leader, Melly. Show a shred of respect, would you? Fine. Whatever. Just hurry up and give me a job, great leader Adaman, and make it a good one, Melly says. You want a job? Fine. Your job is to support the others, Adaman says. All the other wardens are busy looking after their nobles and keeping the people of our clans from panicking. Take a hint. Oh, Adaman. Oh, you silly, foolish boy. Don't you understand anything? Everyone has work they're suited to and work they're not. And, oh, before I forget, it seems you weren't entirely useless after all, Galaxy Team grunts. Well done, you, Melly says. In the Ether Foundation, everyone is quite mad at how they call Ash and Serena grunts. That made them sound like they are part of the evil team like Jesse, James, and Meowth. He is so arrogant, Dawn mutters. That's Melly. Lily says. He was one of the wardens, which are similar to the trial captains we have in Alola. And we will never do that to anyone else, Sophocles mutters. Just don't call us that again, Serena mutters in annoyance. Take this as a reward for your adorable efforts. Just my way of encouraging the little people, Melly says. And you're all so little compared to me. Ash and Serena are fighting the urge to not punch the man as they accept his 3 candy truffles. Before they can stay any longer, Urita and Lien finally arrive. Urita says, I've brought Lien. Melly notices Lien and mutters, yeesh. That ugly hat suits you as poorly as this important role does. I don't like this at all. I should be the one consulted for my wisdom. Hisui's ores and stones are her precious resource. Since I was the first to realize that fact, it's only natural that I should be the first consulted. Lien folds his arms. If you have a problem with it, perhaps you'd like to take it up with Clever in battle? With that bumbling ball of yours? Ash and Serena are trying not to laugh at the statement, and Melly is not happy. Excuse me? That bumbling ball is more than capable of zapping both you and that ugly bug of yours all the way back to your stupidly oversized tree. Shall we prove it to you now? Melly, give it a rest and play nice with the Pearl Clan folks for once, would you? Bigger things are at stake here. Adaman glares at the man. But, Adaman, Melly tries to retort. Everyone back home is all worked up because the Pearl Clan got to speak to Almighty Sinnoh. Or Palkia or whatever. Do you want them to hog all the glory? Adaman decides to ignore Melly and he turns to Lien, Warden Lien. If you would? Certainly, Lien nods. Then let us set out at once. We make for the Primeval Grotto. Ash and Serena nod as they all head to the Primeval Grotto. To be continued. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please let me know your thoughts and reviews in the comment box. Now I will see you in the next video.